harsh criticism.
Everybody, you know the deal, so hit like and subscribe and let's get after it. Hi, hello, and welcome to your favorite Average to Good podcast, Call It What You Want. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside Charlie Davies and Brian McBride, and we have a lot to talk about, apparently. A little fallout from the U.S. men's national team crashing out of Copa America, a major failure for the program and for Greg Berhalter, the coach, and for the players, ultimately. But before we get into it, let's do the word of the day. You guys ready for the word of the day?
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I don't even know who won last time around.
It was a draw. It was the first ever draw.
That's right.
I think it's
like
a world record. Yeah.
Nice job. Okay, so here is the word of the day, and it is okay. Oh, I should say this. It's the word means when legs start to tire or a tactical switch is needed. Okay, so the coach looks to his bench to make a substitute, and in this part of the world, this is the word for substitute. Okay, it's Zamyana. Zamyana. That is the substitute. You guys want? We got to give you the clues. Okay, so first clue number one.
I have an idea of where I'm going, but okay.
Okay, this country had the third longest serving manager at the 2024 Euros. Okay. Mm-hmm. Clue number two. The oldest ever goal scorer at the European Championship comes from this country.
Romania.
Okay, now I've got some time here to guess. I won't take. So,
but not too much time. I feel like we got to put
Hungary.
No, both are incorrect.
Okay.
Albania. Okay, so I'll read the clues again. Everybody, if you're listening at home, you're playing with us.
Jimmy.
Okay, you guys gave bad to average guesses there. Okay, so this country had the third longest serving manager at Euro 2024. Okay.
Croatia.
You got it, Chuck Davies.
Yes.
Woo! Behind Zlatko Dalic, only behind Didier Deschamps and Gareth Southgate.
I knew it because I went back to 2018 World Cup. I thought, okay, Croatian manager.
There's a severe foul here, Jimmy. You're not paying attention to when good old Chuck throws out guess and then guesses again. He threw out Albania.
And then Albania first? I didn't hear him say Albania. I was looking at my notes.
I was thinking to myself.
So this is
woo!
Mick Brizzle. You know what? Take it up with Colmy Bowl VAR.
Okay? Yeah, there you go.
We make up rules as we go. All right. That's
Croatia.
This is an absolute travesty.
Cyrus, chill, man.
We are taking cues from the referees at Copa America on this one, and that's just how it's going to have to go. You're going to have to suck it up and eat it. Listen, you can get Christian Pulisic yelling in my face right now. I'm not going to shake his hand. Those are the rules, okay?
Jimmy, we're going to have to turn off Charlie's chat.
That's true. Charlie might have been utilizing the chat.
Shout out to my people in the chat. You know what I mean? Cyrus Pearson.
And your extra guess. that's another shout out.
All right, so we're gonna do a little postmortem for Copa America and how we're feeling about things, coaching staff, players, all that good stuff. But breaking news: BJ Callahan has officially taken the Nashville SC job. So congratulations to him. And he might be the first one that's stepping away from the coaching staff of the U.S. men's national team, as things may or may not be falling apart. But he's gone. He's out. He's no longer part of the adventure leading up to 2026 for the U.S. men's national team. Congratulations to him. We hope it goes well, of course. And Brian, what are your thoughts on BJ taking this opportunity? How do you think he'll do?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I think that's sort of the next step. He's gone through the whole process, right? Started as an analyst at Philadelphia, has worked extremely hard through his coaching licenses to get to the point where he's now an assistant, or was an assistant, the first assistant with Greg at the national team. So I think, it's definitely the progression that you would see for him. And it's a good opportunity. It's a club that has great support. There's front office that really works together and has this vision. So I'm happy for him. I think this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, okay. We'll wish him the best. Hopefully we'll get him on the show at some point and he can talk us through his time with the U.S. men's national team, and then obviously his hopes and dreams for being the head coach himself without that interim tag. He finally gets to be the guy without having interim in front of it. Okay, so speaking to the coaching staff of the U.S. men's national team, the American Outlaws, the biggest organized supporters group in the United States around the U.S. men's national team, they have come out and put out a statement saying that they want a head coaching change. And they're not alone. Everybody at this point is clamoring and calling for
Is this
Greg's
the first
head.
time, Jimmy?
What's that?
Is this the first time that
I think
I think
so.
American supporters group has come out? And I mean, the American Outlaws is the most well known for the U.S. men's national team, have come out and said, we want a change.
I believe the answer is yes.
And I'd also say, Jimmy, on top of that, is that I feel like this is the first time where it feels real unanimous in this change, at least calling for a change, because we've seen a lot of fractured, opinions in terms of, okay, we have one group that thinks strongly of the manager, the coach, and another group that thinks, and you could argue on both sides. It feels that it's headed to a spot where everyone is in agreement.
I agree with you. And I hope that the grass is going to be greener, because I don't know what of the options are out there. I do think it's time for a change. Listen, I'm going to beat a dead horse and just say I asked for that change after the World Cup. It was clear the players needed to hear a new voice. We haven't evolved. We haven't grown over the last 2 years. And what's even scarier is that we don't have any real meaningful games. Yes, okay, we have the Gold Cup in 2025, but we're not going to really get tested in that way. Sure, we might have a high-intensity game against Panama to try to do that, or a grudge match against Jesse Marsh in Canada, or get to go against Mexico again, and that's fine. But is that going to help us get to where we want to go? That actually causes me the most concern moving forward. And so if we have a new coach in place, at least we can try to implement and continue to fine-tune whatever identity and philosophy that coach wants to put in. And I just don't think, if Greg was still in charge, where else is there to go? We hit a ceiling with him a while back, and it's unfortunate that we had to wait through the Copa America to make that happen, or for everybody to realize, yeah, shit, this isn't really working. But here we are. Now we just have to move forward from here. And the first step for me is to get the coach out, and then you start to then look at the identity.
All right.
Go ahead.
I want to put I want to put you both in U.S. soccer's shoes. Okay. So here's my question to you. You have a predicament. So do you decide to move on from Greg Berhalter now with no plan in terms of what the immediate future looks like? And when I say immediate, okay, you got friendlies against Panama, New Zealand, and Canada. Nothing inspiring. Do you need a manager by then? No, you don't. But what type of runway do you need in terms of giving a new manager, whoever that may be, the risk, right, of we're going to make this move and we don't know what the future holds? Or do you say, we're gonna keep Greg in this job until someone that we think could take this group forward becomes available. So it's basically like, are you willing to take that risk? Because there are no guarantees in anything we have. You could say we're gonna get Klopp. Klopp's gonna say we're gonna do it, and it's not a guarantee that the U.S. takes off in this group and he can coach this group to an incredible finish. But in terms of a calculated risk, it feels like now is the time. But I'm putting you both in those shoes. What goes through your mind, and what decision do you ultimately make?
Charlie, if you're gonna get rid of the coach, you get rid of him now.
Okay.
There's plenty of coaches that are available that you should already have an idea of whether or not there's a possibility that they would be interested in taking the position, because you have to be decisive in this situation. There can't be like a halfway where, hey, let's just keep the head coach along because you're hoping to get somebody in the winter window, or you're waiting for somebody to be let go. But if there is a change to be made, you should already be talking to agents. You should already understand which head coaches or which managers would be interested in that, and you should be going down that path. There's not when you're talking about getting rid of a manager, you can't tag that manager along, because one, he'll eventually find out, right? This is not something that the soccer world, as you guys know, is like, really secretive, because when you hear about things like the BJ's job, I mean, that was pretty much done and in place, my understanding, even before this tournament started, and it was just waiting for the U.S. to get out of the tournament to announce BJ to be a part of Nashville. All those things, they come to fruition, and it's not helpful just tagging some coach along and keeping them going when eventually you know that you're going to get rid of.
Can we just bring in Dave Sarachan? Remember when he took over for a year as we waited for Greg Berhalter? Like, what an absolute shit show that was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you kidding me?
Can we even go back? Let's go back to that. I mean, that felt like we mishandled that. We're waiting for a coach or whatever. We
talk about buzzkill.
Dave Sarachan, personally, great relationship with him. Love the guy, but still interim for a year, almost like a year with him. Then Greg takes over, and then after the first cycle, okay, we hit a ceiling with Greg. We got out of our group in 2022, and so on and so forth. Then we wait another 6 months to just sift through everything that happened, and then rehired him.
Painful too. That was painful too.
I feel like we bent over backwards for Greg Berhalter so many times that dude, it's just not it's not good enough anymore, and it's time to move on. Okay, done. But
the reality of the situation is it's crystal clear. You had an objective. You didn't get out of the group. Exactly. It was a complete failure. There's nothing to think about. There's literally nothing. It doesn't matter that all the players want Greg and love Greg and fight for Greg. It does not matter. Accountability means this is your directive. You need to, at the very minimum, and we know this, and U.S. Soccer thought that, the very minimum, they get out of the group and they lose to Colombia or Brazil in the next round.
Yeah,
and then everyone goes, oh, well, we lost to a better team. But you didn't even do that. So at that point, there should be no discussion. It's done. It's finito. And not, mind you, we're not even talking about just one game in Panama. We're talking about this whole runway up to Copa America. It was uninspiring. The shellacking against Colombia, the unbearable game against Jamaica where we needed an own goal to get into extra time, and then we eventually won. Trinidad and Tobago, when Serginho Dest gets the red card, and those games can happen. But look, it's not just one game. We've had a series of games. So ultimately, it's done. You have to move on. It shouldn't even be a discussion of do we move on. It's figure out from here on out.
Agreed.
What that next manager looks like, and what's the top target. How much can U.S. Soccer shell out to bring the best available person? And you don't just overpay to overpay. Who's that right person? Because I think Gareth Southgate is the highest paid coach in the world.
Chuck, we definitely overpay to overpay. We got to get somebody in, baby. Like, this is the biggest sporting event in the world. It's going to be the biggest soccer event we've had in our country ever.
So how much do you think, Greg, that U.S. Soccer would be willing to pay? Because what, Jurgen was on 4?
Call me Greg. I'm not Greg. Listen, you're triggering me. You just call me Greg. Listen, I will not accept that moniker. I will not be called Greg right now. I refuse to accept that. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Trigger.
High five
Trigger.
to you, Chuck. It's pretty rare when we're both triggered at the same time. So we're both triggered.
I'm just seeing fire. That's all. Right now. I'm just. I am
yes.
hot. I am.
We
to the
go get
fullest
somebody that's gonna, even if it's a mercenary, but somebody that's gonna bring something different. It's gonna get instant respect and have a voice. We need a big name. We need a big name, and if we have to overpay for that a little bit because we're a little bit desperate, how much money is? But Mick Brizzle,
Jimmy, not Greg Conrad. I love it.
The internet is undefeated. Jimmy, not Greg Conrad. Got plenty of time for it. So Mick Brizzle, I mean, I don't know how much money we stand to make as a federation and as a country for hosting a World Cup, but I'm sure it's a shit ton of money. And if that's the case, let's just get a front on that and go get somebody, overpay, whatever we got to do. We just got to get somebody in here who knows what they're doing and can understand this is the job for 2 years or 18 months or whatever it's going to be. We need to get everybody on the same page with our players. This isn't about this big revolution of how we're going to
Jimmy,
do the stuff from the grassroots. We don't need somebody that's worried about the grassroots right now.
Just coach the first team. That's it.
Just coach the first team.
And that's what the head coach does now. So that's what Greg does now. Greg's not a part of any of the influence on the youth side, that I can tell you. And I can tell you that Greg knows what he's doing, and he's a good coach. The problem is we haven't progressed. And for me, this is where is the biggest issue is offensively. The amount of problems we cause other teams isn't enough because of the talent. And especially you got Christian playing at his best that he's been playing at, and we've got some talented players. So the fear factor isn't there for us right now. I think defensively and as far as organizationally, we're like organized wise, and the players playing for Greg, that's all there. We have to get to the next step. We have to be able to then put fear in your opponent and cause them problems consistently in the attacking third. And right now we're not doing that. And that's my biggest concern. And I'm torn because I've seen the work Greg puts in. He's a very good coach. He's a very good communicator. He works extremely hard, and he is very aware of the opponents and their strengths and weaknesses. But for us to make the other team feel like there's a fear factor, we're not there yet. And we should be there because this group has grown from, not having a lot of experience and being very young to now having a really good amount of experience, and they playing at high levels. Maybe not playing the minutes that we would want, but they're there. So that's my biggest concern right now. And the fact that the American Outlaws have come out and said, hey, we want to change, I think that's a huge statement.
Yeah, it's damning.
Okay, let's take a look at the replacements then. Like which of the replacements that are out there? Yes, some of it's dreamland type stuff, but hey, money talks, and money can turn some heads.
It's probably all dreamland, to be honest.
You think so? I think
except for Bernard. I think everyone else is dreamland.
Okay, so we got Jurgen Klopp on this list for everybody that's listening and not watching. Jurgen Klopp, Zinedine Zidane, Yogi Love, Marcelo Gallardo, who just got sacked from his Saudi Arabia
Why isn't
team.
Thomas Tuchel on this list, by the way?
Maxi Allegri, Mauricio Pochettino, because our producer clearly doesn't like Thomas Tuchel. I wouldn't want. Shout out to you, Des. Jimmy, not Greg Conrad, coming back on that. But yeah, maybe Christian Pulisic wouldn't let that happen either. He didn't have a good relationship with Thomas Tuchel. But yeah, maybe Herb Bernard wouldn't be a bad one.
Why is David Moyes on that list?
Is Thomas Christensen?
David Moyes would basically just be playing the same way that we're playing now.
Would you put Christensen on that list?
Look at McFrizzle. You played for David Moyes?
Oh yeah.
And?
Twice. Awesome. Awesome. Great leader.
I actually want some insight on David Moyes. Keep going.
Yeah, listen, he is someone that I have a huge amount of respect for because of the fact that he's done it in so many different places. Certainly Manchester United side wasn't the success that he wanted, but who has been able get success there.
No, fair. Good point.
You look at what he did when he took over Everton, and that setup is similar to how the U.S. is, in the sense that, you know, we need hardworking players, but also you need to get results, and get results playing some attacking style soccer. And then he went to West Ham, and I mean, took West Ham, brought them their first European trophy. Listen, I have tons of time for David Moyes.
Do you rate him over Brendan Rodgers?
You know, I never worked with Brendan Rodgers, so I don't know exactly his attributes in the locker room, how he communicates with the players. I know he's a very detailed coach, and that's something that fits into what we need. But I couldn't give you
what about a Pochettino?
Comparison. So Pochettino, when he was at Southampton, everybody was talking so highly of him, and then he went to Tottenham and did a great job. And he did it at a Tottenham where his hands were sort of tied a little bit. And I say that just from what I've heard from players, in the sense that you know, that they had plenty of money, but they weren't necessarily ready to spend a ton of the money. So, but from all I've heard about Pochettino, he's a great manager.
So can we talk about the marketing aspect of this, though? Because this is a massive World Cup, and I don't know whether this should be a factor in it or not, but I do want to bring it up.
That should be a factor. That's a good point.
But having a personality.
Yeah, you flip side, Emma Hayes, incredible personality, out and about, and larger personality than anybody in the one locker room for the U.S. Women's National Team, which is a first. So in terms of building up that side of the program, is there an equivalent for the men's team out there? I'm not seeing of that list outside of Jurgen Klopp, which I think
Jurgen Klopp.
That's a fairy tale.
Zidane's got to be
that happening.
Part of that too. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's a huge name and a huge character.
Who?
He may not have the personality. Zidane.
Who? Zidane.
Yeah, I don't even. Can I raise my hand and say I don't? I'll raise my hand. I actually just said it, but now I'll actually do it now. And say.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, great. Thanks. I got to think of a good nickname for you. I'm gonna start calling you Bob. Okay, Bob. So is there? I lost my train of thought because you called me Greg. God damn it.
Trigger.
But,
well, you said we were talking on Zidane, and then you said,
"Oh, Zidane." Yeah, sorry. Thank you. So with regard to Zidane, I don't know if he's the right fit for the team. To be honest, there's something about, to your point, McBrizzle, about David Moyes, like people that know how to get and find the hard workers and put those pieces together that can get the most out of the group. Not to say, I mean, Zidane coached Real Madrid. Yeah, okay. I know it's not easy to coach Real Madrid, and there is something about that side of it that I think I would appreciate, like managing that type of pressure when all the eyes are on you and staying cool, calm, and collected. There's no one cooler in the game than Zinedine Zidane. But in terms of getting the most out of that group, I think he was good at just putting guys in the right spots. Maybe that's what we need. But
didn't you say no already, Brian?
I mean, we're throwing out names here that
aren't even realistic.
Just
right?
let me dream for 2 minutes,
McBrizzle.
Jeez.
Yeah.
No, but in terms of guys who are realistic, who maybe would be motivated to take a job because maybe they haven't had success as of late, and maybe they once did. You know, I'll always go back to Jose Mourinho. I know he's in a job now, but I think initially someone with that charismatic personality that, you know, it'd be pretty easy to get behind, and he's not going to take anything in the locker room. Maybe that would have been something that I would have been like, he might do it, you know? But
well, let's take a look at the
Matt
American
Crocker Matt Crocker has to, you bring in a person like Matt Crocker to literally get this right. And, you know,
well, he got it right on the U.S. women's national team side. So
yeah, well,
is there at least some piece of evidence. Emma Hayes,
but he rehired Greg though, in the same breath.
He did. But maybe there's other reasons as to why that is. I'm speculating here. That I still get the sense that if you're a big name coach and you're in a big club, you're like, yeah, coaching the U.S. in a World Cup they're hosting sounds pretty cool, but I'm not ready to do that 4 years out. I want to do that a year out or 18 months out. That's when I'll take the job. So I find that Jurgen Klopp's timing is very curious. So I'm still on that.
I mean, it'd be amazing,
train.
right? It'd be amazing. And going back to the Matt Crocker side of things, tell me if you guys take a new position and you have this oversight of both the men's and women's side. And do you think there might be other things that are going to influence you to hire your first hire as a head coach in Greg Berhalter? No way. It was Matt Crocker all the way. And you know, you've got to think through. He was well in tune with the coaches that were available, and I'm sure there was some communication from other parts of U.S. soccer, but overall, your first hire is going to be the person that you think is going to be the best for that job, right? Would you agree with that?
It was between him and Jesse Marsh, no? At the end, those are the last two candidates.
So we hear.
And Jesse Marsh basically was told he was going to be the guy.
Yeah.
So
listen, I know Jesse's.
That to me means Matt Crocker was like, Jesse, I'm going to pick you. And then at the end, it was like, oh, we actually can't, and we're going to go with Greg.
Didn't Cindy Cohn have some oversight on that too? I mean, I don't think Matt Crocker was alone on the Greg Berhalter thing, from what I understand. But
listen, I'm sure, you know, the president's going to have a say in like the thought process, but the overall decision, if you're just you've basically been plucked away and hired for this job. If you don't listen to this person as to who that person wants, who Matt Crocker wants as the head coach, why are you first of all taking that position? Secondly, why are you hiring that person? So I have a really difficult time saying that Matt Crocker did not choose Greg Berhalter as his coach.
All right, we're going to stop down for right now and take our first break of Call It What You Want. When we come back, we'll get into a little bit more of the American options that could be available for the job. And then we'll start digging into the players and what our player pool needs to do to continue to take steps in the right direction. Don't go anywhere.
An unsub, a seasoned one. And he's leaving a calling card.
How do we find a ghost? I have a plan.
Welcome back into Call It What You Want. I'm Jimmy alongside Bob and McBrizzle, and we are getting after it today.
Thanks,
obviously doing a little post-mortem, Copa America post-mortem.
By the way, when we were talking about potential candidates, I saw a number of people in the chat saying Michael Bradley. Just a number of people. I said, Michael Bradley, he just retired. He can't be the head coach of the U.S. men's national team. I mean, at least get him the U20 job or, you know, U23s. We can't talk to me about the head coach of the U.S. men's national team, guys.
We have some very unserious people in the chat.
Yeah.
But
I got a lot of respect for Michael Bradley.
Same.
Oh, so
and I think he could get there if he puts the work in. Like
he's taking his badges now, so you know he's definitely going to go down that
one
path.
step at a time. One step at a time. Yeah, that's personality plus there. That would be fun interviews. I look forward to those. But let's finish off on the American candidates that might be available for the U.S. men's national team job, and who out there in the American landscape are possible. We've got a couple here on our graphic. We got David Wagner, who's done a good job. Pellegrino Matarazzo, who I'd be definitely interested in talking to him. He's at Hoffenheim right now. Jim Curtin and Steve Cherundolo.
Jim Curtin
would be fun.
Come on.
No, I get that, but I think he'd be. I actually wouldn't mind him as like an assistant to the Nationals.
Yeah, and that's at best case. So, you know, in terms of American in MLS, you know, Cherundolo, because he just won and he got to another MLS Cup, so you can make that argument. And he's played with the national team, and we know what a great person he is. So he's coached some big personalities too. So you know, being at the U.S. men's national team manager, you're gonna have to deal with egos. You have to deal with personalities, and if you can't coach people, forget about that job. Absolutely forget about that job.
Anybody out there on that list, McBrizzle, that you think you'd be interested in? The Pellegrino Matarazzo, I don't think we talk about him enough, given what he's done in the Bundesliga. I don't know. I guess I can raise my hand. I don't hear enough from him. We don't talk about him enough. He's not visible enough for me to really sink my teeth into and know what kind of manager he can be. But from what I have seen, I'd be interested in having a conversation with him, because he seems like he maybe not David Moyes. Like, I don't want to do a like for like, but seems to get a lot out of the groups that he's coaching, and that's a good sign of a good coach.
I agree with you, Jimmy. I think those names, and if you're serious, if this is really happening, right, you have a conversation with all of them, and this is not where, unless you already know who you want and have vetted the person and have worked with the person or know the person inside and out, you have conversations. This is not where you're like, all right, we're going to pick a name because they did well at this club. You have no idea the situation at the club. You have no idea the personnel. So hearing their ideas and a vision is so important when you're talking to hire a manager. And if you go in flat thinking, wow, those results were amazing that you got with this club, I'm sure that's going to transfer to the U.S. men's national team. It normally does not. So conversations have to be had.
Yeah, interesting times. This podcast is gonna be popping off because we're gonna continue to get news and hear different things as it goes along. All right, let's focus now on the players. And Chuck, I'll come to you first on this. The big topic is, have the players been getting a free pass? I mean, a lot of the heat is going towards Greg, as it should. He's the coach. He's the one that's making the final
accountability falls on him. He's the face, right? He's the coach.
You can't fire all the players, right? That goes at the club level, national team level. And if things aren't working, things aren't running as smoothly as they should be, it falls on the coach. And then that's the nature of it. And that's what coaches sign up for. They know that going in. So that's not a big surprise. But have the players been getting a free pass? Should we be looking at them a little bit more critically? I'd like to say that we do a good job of that here on the show. But overall, or at least as it pertains to this particular situation, should we be a little bit harder on these guys because we just didn't perform?
Yes, we should be hard, and I think we have been hard. I mean, the responsibility falls on the players. They didn't perform well for the most part. They made some bad decisions. I mean, we look at the first game against Bolivia. They won 2-0, and it was pretty comfortable, but they should have won 4-5-0. And we're talking about the intensity every single minute, every single half, playing with that passion that they played with against Uruguay, where we saw that. And to be fair, against Panama, when they went down a man, they did work their butt off. There was the intensity. They were trying to get a result, but they obviously didn't come to fruition. And they didn't get the job done. So yes, the responsibility falls on the players. And you could say, okay, well, were they set up the best way to play, in terms of positioning and getting the most out of the attacking talent, which Greg Berhalter did not do. That's a clear and obvious answer. But yes, the players need to do better. And I got to address the comment, Dalton Harris. He's saying, since your comment on Michael is crazy, since Zidane is on the list, he only coached Madrid because of his name. We're talking about Zidane. What are you talking about? Not saying he's a bad coach, but anyone could have fielded Madrid's best 11 on that team. That's not true. That is not true,
I wonder how many of these comments are just to get you to trigger.
Zidane has the respect because of what he's done on the pitch, and then as a manager, to get the most out of that type of team. Come on, you know better than that, Dalton. And I was triggered.
He's been sitting on that trigger for 5 minutes. That was a good one.
I have. I've been trying to keep it calm and cool, but some of these people in the comments know just what buttons to push with me. So there you go.
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Comparing Zidane and Michael Bradley.
I think one of the areas where we need to improve, and I know that McBrizzle talked about it a little bit earlier, being more dangerous in and around the final third, consistently dangerous, being able to, if one thing's taken away, let's say they cut out our wings, can we be more dangerous in the middle? If they stack a lot of people in the middle, can we create numerical advantages and hit good crosses and be dangerous? Can we just always consistently be dangerous no matter what the situation is? I think we're still growing in that area. I should mention, too, that we were the youngest team at the 2022 World Cup. We were the second youngest team at Copa America. So when you have a young team, there's going to be some growth spurts, sometimes a step back to take 2 steps forward. My concern, again, is that what do we have 2 steps forward to go into in preparation for the 2026 World Cup? We don't have a lot of meaningful games, and I don't know if the 2025 Gold Cup really ticks that box for me. We obviously have plenty of time to get into that part of the
It just
discussion.
ticks the box for a new manager, new coach to come in and say,
try things.
This is where we're going to try different things.
Yeah.
Can we address this comment? Because I think it's important from Liverpool.
Oh, here he goes. He's triggered again, McBrizzle.
No,
Here he goes.
I think this is important. All this talk about a new coach is great, but according to Casey, doesn't the charter limit the U.S. because both men and women's coach have to make the same salary? Is that true now?
McBrizzle is a former employee of U.S. Soccer.
Yeah.
You can take this one.
It's an interesting question, Charlie. My time there wasn't anything that was written in a charter or anything like that. The viewpoint from U.S. Soccer has been equal pay, and so as I said on another podcast, that is definitely if they stick to that notion, that is definitely going to be a hindrance if we're talking about trying to bring in a huge name. There's no doubt about that. And that's not because then, it's going to cost money to pay Emma Hayes, which they'll do. It's because of the amount of money U.S. Soccer has and what they make. Now, Jimmy pointed out at the very beginning of this podcast that at the end of this World Cup, will they have the finances to take care of that? I certainly hope so, because we're not even fully staffed for and fully programmed for our youth national teams right now. And that's a huge issue. So I know I'm getting off topic, but when we're talking about finances and the amount of desire that everybody that is a fan wants U.S. Soccer to get to, there's also, like any business, there's also limitations on the financial side. So
I know in terms of, make it clear for people, for the CBA, the men and the women make the same amount, right? So the bonuses.
And that's the players.
Right, the players.
So I don't know if there's a charter or written into new bylaws that the same thing happens to the men's and women's coaches. I know that we've seen that the commitment was there, and that's why Emma Hayes is making what she's making, which is great. And but if it hinders the ability to get the coach you want, and again, this is all hypothetical, then that we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how U.S. Soccer handles that.
Yeah, it will be interesting, and I'm curious if we can get a big name, how much we're going to have to pool together. Maybe we can get all the owners from Canada to pool together and get some money to hire us a coach. I mean, that it helps everybody, right? If the U.S. national team does well in the 2026 World Cup, the trickle-down effect for everybody underneath that umbrella is huge. MLS, USL, we could argue even the women's league. Everybody even benefits. Just the visibility of the game being played, and if the U.S. does well, it just helps everybody. So why wouldn't you put some money out there to try to get the best name, the biggest name that you could to help us get there? That's what I'm going to say on that. Now back to the players.
And then other people's money, Jimmy. I like it.
What? That's how the world works, McBrizzle. Okay, so another one issue that I have with the players is game management. I'm still, the more time I've had to think about it, and that Panama game, we're up 1-0, despite being down. Yes, foolish red from
Think
Tim
of
Way.
the substitutions too, right?
The substitutions too, but even prior to that, when we have a Tyler Adams on the field, who I think is very good at game management, understands situations, good awareness and presence and accountability and all that stuff. That first goal we gave up against Panama before halftime, unacceptable. It's honestly unacceptable. You have to get to halftime up 1-0 there. And the fact that we were leaving that gap.
Tyler came out of the middle. Came out and Weston's caught in no man, and Weston didn't step, and there was a chain reaction. And next thing you know, there's so much space in front of Chris Richards and Tim Ream, and no one steps, and boom, it's in the back of the net. And might I add that Matt Turner probably should have saved that as well.
Listen, you're preaching to the choir. I feel the same exact way. And it reminded me of a play back in Copa America that I had against Argentina. We were 1-1. Okay, Chuck, I don't know if you were on the field at this point. But our guys were tired.
We're tied at this point or no?
Yeah, still 1-1. We're like the 65th minute. And I end up stepping into midfield. I leave my space, very similar to what Tyler did. I tried to go make a play because the other guys around me were tired. They weren't stepping to the ball. We needed to get someone around Riquelme, right? And so I just I'm going to go. I'm going to pressure Riquelme. He sees me because these guys a genius and lays a nice little ball. Messi had been running off the ball. I stepped to Riquelme, plays it to Messi. Messi plays it into the gap that I was in, that I left because I didn't have the positional discipline in that moment to stay there. And Crespo runs off the back shoulder of Johnny Bornstein and they score. And then that was it. We couldn't get back into a game where we didn't have the ball. We went from 1-1 with 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes left to go to losing 4-1. And I still remember that play. I regret that play because I didn't have that positional discipline, despite the fact that I think that's one of my good traits as a player. And Tyler's the same. I think I really love his positional discipline, but in that moment we didn't have it. And we need our players to learn how to manage a game or to do it more consistently. And I know that feels like an intangible. It's not speed or beating somebody in a 1v1 or creating chances in and around the box. Those are all important too. But in that moment, we needed our guys to do better, despite the red card.
I don't think you made that mistake after that either.
No. That's exactly right. You learn from that mistake and you grow, but it hurt us in that moment, and we didn't get out of our group in Copa America down there as well.
Johnny Bornstein was absolutely phenomenal in that first half against Messi, by the way. I was like,
he was very
we
good.
were all like, what the hell is this? Bornstein taking the ball off Messi?
Yeah. Anyway, I just bring that up because it reminded me of that and that in-game management. If we're going to actually do anything of consequence, we have to get lights out. When I watch other teams, the biggest teams play, they punish you for those mistakes, those little half mistakes. And if Panama's going to do it to us, what's a Uruguay or Colombia or Brazil going to do for us? You know, I mean, that's just like next level that of kind of understanding and tactical understanding. And that's why not having meaningful games in the next 2 years, or very many of them, is not going to help us, I think, get to where we want to go. So the one last thing I want to say about this before we get to our next break is that we had no MLS players in the starting 11. Many of the European-based guys, well, everybody was European-based, but they lacked club minutes. And so I think all the players that everybody was clamoring for were, including us, were in the starting 11. We got Gio Reyna playing centrally, which is what we wanted. In the last game, I didn't mind how we played against Uruguay. I thought we came after him. We were trying to make things happen, and you know, the game got away from us a little bit as
we just didn't create enough in the attacking third.
We didn't, but we had all the players out there that I think that we wanted. When Flo went out with an injury, I think that slowed us down. He was excellent this tournament, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on what do we do? I mean, these are the guys. And these are the guys that we all wanted to see. So how do we get more out of them? Is it just the coaching, or I'm kind of going back to it a little bit, but I wanted to see what you guys' thoughts on, you know, these are all the players that we wanted to see, and we still didn't perform at the level that we wanted. I don't know who wants to jump in.
Well, do you want to talk about first the accountability in terms of positioning and discipline? Because you're talking about, trying to figure out in matches how to get results and figuring out, hey, when can I leave? When can I attack? Versus, all right, we got to manage this game properly, and maybe we can take a possession against Panama, even though we're down a man. Because that's another thing I think from the U.S. soccer standpoint is they competed hard for Greg Berhalter. They worked hard to get that result, and they were unlucky. And what is a manager to do against a difficult team down a man? And it's like, you were up a goal being down a man. You figure out a way to get at the very least a point, because Panama doesn't have players to break you down. They play one way, one style, and that's whether it's the counterattack or whipping in balls off of crosses or set pieces. That's it. They're not breaking you down the middle. Look at Austria versus Turkey yesterday in the Euros. Austria didn't have a plan B, and they still were able to get some chances whipping in balls, but they weren't breaking Turkey down. Turkey did an incredible job. So, and I know it's 11v11, but I'm just telling you, in that standpoint, Panama doesn't have the quality to break us down, and so it is disappointing in that way, and of not figuring out a way to come away with a point. But I think in terms of player ratings, I mean, we have to start with Turner, because start from the back. And Matt Turner got a clean sheet against Bolivia, but wasn't really tested. And you have to talk about.
I could have gotten a clean sheet against
Bolivia.
His
smoking
a cigarette, drinking a coffee back there. Yeah,
was so poor. I mean,
Bolivia
just the
bad.
Turnovers, kicking it out of bounds, the wrong weight of the passes, the wrong person to pass to, and then you throw in the Panama game. Should have done better on the first goal. Do you give him any space because or benefit of the doubt because he had gotten injured prior to having to make that save? Because he had that collision, which ultimately took him out at halftime.
Yeah, but Jimmy, he's got to be man enough.
If you
I get you.
If that's going to change the way you're going to make a save, then you got to come out the game. Are you kidding me?
Okay. I'm just
You're on one leg as a keeper and you can't
just
dive.
playing devil's advocate.
You're gonna stay in, yeah. And then in the third game, same thing, poor distribution, and his rebound, he blocks it right to the player. I mean, that's goalkeeping 101. You parry the shot, you push it wide. So
do you think he's the player that maybe took the biggest step backwards from this tournament? Would he be in that part of the conversation?
But he was already under scrutiny because he wasn't playing in his form and his giveaways in Europe, which
in the Colombia
resulted in
game
him
too, the
being
friendly.
a bench player in Nottingham
Could have maybe
Forest.
done better on the.
He bounced back in Brazil though.
He did.
So
He did.
I mean, but either way, it's a worry. It is a worry because Horvath doesn't give you much confidence after that, and then it's an abyss. The goalkeeping position is an abyss after that.
He just called Gaga Slonina and Patrick Schulte an abyss.
Yeah, because they're still young and
I know they're young.
They're not
I know.
proven.
Listen,
I get it. I'm just giving you a hard time.
We've got a really talented young goalkeeper in Barcelona, Diego Cochin, who listen, he's an amazing shot stopper. His height, he's not the tallest at the moment, but someone to keep an eye out for because he's like Spain has actually tried to get him a passport so they could
Play him now.
No,
Yeah.
actually,
Take him to the Olympics.
he might actually be a part of the first team this year for Barcelona, which is it's a big step.
So why is he not in the Olympic conversation?
He just doesn't have the experience. And to be honest with you, Patrick Schulte and Gaga Slonina are sort of the next up, right? So they're the next in line. They're not the finished product, but I think as far as you move things along and progress things, those two are rightfully so a part of the Olympic conversation.
All right, so Brian, this same question for you. Was there any player that maybe took a step back? I mean, Matt Turner is actually a good place to start. I mean, he's an older goalkeeper, so in anything we just kind of want him to be consistently good. That's what we expect. We want him to be 7 or 8 out of 10, and he was a little bit all over the place in that regard. Back line, I don't know if we want to just kind of go line by line. Jedi was solid. Scally, I thought was solid. Chris Richards passing, that makes me nervous. Tim Ream, just I don't know. We're going to count on the 38-year-old in the 2026 World Cup.
Chris Richards wasn't good on either phase of that. I think he struggled. He showed some moments, but for the most part, he struggled in possession and he struggled defensively. So
Yeah.
And then Anthony was Anthony. I thought throughout every match he showed his ability. He got down the left flank. There was no balance on the right side because Joe Scally doesn't attack. So from that standpoint, we say Joe Scally was good. He did what an average right back will do internationally. He'll defend. He'll get up, get the ball off his foot. He usually played safe. Actually, he always played safe. I mean, it was probably like 99% safe, sideways or backwards. Didn't try to make the game about himself. So that was the difficult part for me was you didn't replace what you got with Serginho Dest with your team because he gave you now an attacking third presence from that right back spot. You took that away and you
knew that was going to happen, Charlie. Right? That wasn't a surprise.
Which is pragmatic, right?
Yeah.
You're not taking risks.
What do you do? And we've talked about all this, right? You're going to either take that pragmatic side of things and say, hey, we're going to defend first, or you throw caution to the wind and you put Timothy Weah back there in the beginning. And we knew from the very beginning that wasn't going to happen. So I thought Joe Scally actually surprised me in his defending. And I thought he did well.
He did well defending.
He was fine. He wasn't a problem for us. For Chris Richards, who I think very highly of, I don't think it was his best tournament by any stretch. When you look at center backs, and Jimmy, you know this more than anything, is the first thing you want to do as a center back is you're demanding. You start thinking as a forward going against a demanding center back, like, oh, maybe I'm going to drift over here to receive the ball. And we didn't have that, and you're not going to get that from Tim. Tim's not the one that's going to, let you know he's there consistently. He'll give you a little kick every once in a while, but we didn't have that towering defensive strength that I was hoping to see from Chris Richards. because it wasn't. I don't think any of the forwards that played against
Nothing
us
imposing. Yeah,
exactly.
Nothing imposing.
And so that's the next step we need to see for Chris Richards as we move forward and into this World Cup.
All right, we are on our way to having a 2-hour podcast. So
I got news. Brian, he's coming at me, Chuck. He said your whole outside backs need to be attackers. Take is wild. What happened to the lost art of defending? We're not in the 1990s anymore. Are you forgetting what these outside backs have done in world football over the past 10, 12 years? That's a part of the process now in attacking. You're playing a lot of attacking wingers as outside backs now, or wing backs, because of what they provide the team in the attacking third. So yes, that's what we've done with Serginho Dest. We're talking about Serginho Dest, who sometimes forgets what defending is. We had somebody who created a lot of chances and scored goals as a right back, and now we're talking about the art of lost defending.
Jimmy, don't you love how he gets triggered? But they help him.
Great.
They help him in word of the day.
In fact, I think we should just have a spin-off of Call What You Want. Where it's just triggered Charlie.
You're always here, so mad respect. But come on now, don't be saying some crazy stuff like that.
All right, we're taking our last break of Call What You Want. When we come back, more of the good stuff, of course, because that's what we do. All right, welcome back into Call It What You Want. I'm Jimmy alongside Chuck and McBrizzle, and we are going to finish our conversation. I know we have some other things to get into. We're going to have to make that part of it really quick. But I saw some comments from Tim Ream after the game and even the day after the game, essentially saying, and I'll be paraphrasing here, that we just need more guys that can step up and make things happen. And Christian alluded to that too. And we've seen bits and pieces of that from different players after getting knocked out of this tournament. So one of the players that I think we all count on as fans, the team counts on him as well, is Gio Reyna. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on not to say that did he take this big step back, but we need him in particular to be on the ball more. And at times, sometimes I think, hey, wait, has Gio touched it in the last 15 minutes? Like I if we're going to really break into that upper echelon for him individually and for our team collectively, we need someone that can put their foot on the ball and help drive the game for us. That's just not all Christian, because at some point these teams start to stack him up, and then we need other players to then fill in that void and take on more of that responsibility. There's undeniable. His talent is undeniable. I want to make sure that's clear, because everybody that maybe joins us for the first time, Jimmy hates Gio. Like, I don't hate Gio Reyna. I think he's got more talent than in his pinky than I have in my whole body. So I just want to make sure that's really clear. And he has moments where he does click on, and all of a sudden there's some good combination play.
You are
and
a slight hater. You are
okay. Here we go. But but so then he's involved, right? And there's that stat that in the last 10 goals that we scored, he's on the field or whatever it is, which is great. But I still want more from him. I expect more from him because I know what he's capable of, and I use him as an example because I don't think McKinney had a great tournament either, and there are a couple guys that just. We needed them to be at 7 and 8 out of 10 the whole tournament, and sometimes they were 8s and sometimes they were 4s, and that's just not going to be good enough.
That's been the name of the game with this team. Inconsistency in terms of not only ability but the intensity.
Right. Okay. But I actually look at the Uruguay game. I didn't mind the intensity. I thought we were up for that game.
It was good.
I thought we were up for that game. I didn't mind the starting 11. The tactics seem fine to me. Now it's about executing on those tactics. And then 0-0. Then we had the urgency, at the end, okay, we give up a set piece, shit happens. But
that piece that shouldn't have been a goal, right?
No, that too. Don't get me triggered on that, McBrizzle.
Yeah, the urgency, and I thought the intensity of that last match was good. And we need to see that throughout. And going back to the Panama match, and you guys were talking about you have to be able to see that game out, and that's exactly right. Because when you're down a man and you're up a goal, You stop worrying about anything other than closing the ball down. You close the ball down. Don't allow any space. And behind you, you don't allow any space from that in that final third. And if they want to pass around the back, great. Let them pass around the back. As soon as the ball gets in that final third, we need to have pressure every second. And you see the teams that do it really well. And those are the teams that don't allow chances. And the combination of everything, especially the first goal, and I know that you said Matt Turner can do better. And yeah, maybe he can. But we have to be smart enough to not let the ball shot through our legs. And again, Chris Richards doesn't close down, opens up to try and block, and the ball goes right through your legs. And as a goalkeeper, we talked about it with Tony on the last podcast, Jimmy. As a goalkeeper, you're expecting anything that's directly in front of you directly in front of the defender will be blocked. And you see watch all the top defenders in the world. They close their legs knowing that forwards love to do it. I love to do it. When I saw a defender trying to reach out to block a shot, I would go right through the legs to the near post, and the goalkeeper could do nothing about it. So these are little things that as we get better, as we get older and more experience for Chris Richards, and I talked about him a little bit earlier, I think those are the things that we need to have, and we need to have them now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Those are the little details. And that's why I brought up my story against Argentina. Like, that decision for me to step in midfield was a bad decision. They score, and then we can't find our way back into the game. And these are the details that I think the top international teams are good at, consistently good at. But here's a stat for you, just to bring it back to Gio. He in the Copa America, Charlie, he created 2 chances that had no shots on goal in those 3 games. That's got to be better. That just has to be better.
Well, it comes from a coach knowing how to get the right setup, the right support for. Balogun was playing on an island again in this tournament. Yeah, he did a little bit better because he scored that banger against Panama, but he was still playing on an island. He still wasn't getting enough chances. Reyna wasn't getting enough touches. Christian wasn't getting enough touches involved in the attacking third. So again, I go to the midfield. The midfield wasn't okay. The midfield was not right. And Weston McKennie, is as much as he played at Juve this year, he was underwhelming all 3 matches. And in the 2 friendlies before the 3 matches. He was moving all over the place, but he was underwhelming. I don't even recall like one key pass that he had. I cannot. Yunus Musa against Uruguay. That was the most underwhelming I've ever been watching Yunus Musa, and we know how gifted he was. But there was no like excitement or joy where we're used to seeing him all over the pitch and getting on the ball and dribbling. Nothing. So the midfield for me was a big issue in this tournament. And Tyler Adams, the whole time we were thinking about time management. How much time is he going to play this game? In what world are we going every match being like, 60 today? Is he going to be 4? What? And then imagine we're talking about, well, where's the discipline in the midfield? Guys are all over the place when we've always been pretty structured with our midfield. So that midfield is supposed to be the strongest part of our team because we have the most depth, and that was the weakest in all 3 games. I just think it's crazy that we're managing minutes in a major competition. Like, if the guy can't go, then let's put somebody out there that can. And if he can go, then let him play the whole game. Like, maybe Bolivia, I can make an exception because Bolivia's trash. They're not very good. And that was harsh. I shouldn't have said trash, but they're not very good. And so okay, maybe in that game it makes sense. But after that, I don't know. That kind of blew me away. These aren't friendlies. This is a major competition, and we should be taking it as serious as possible. So I don't know. We're frustrated. Obviously, there's going to be a lot to talk about, but we do have a couple other things to get into because I know we could go on and on about this, and we don't want to make sure everybody has to sit in their car or watch us on YouTube for 2 hours. But given that, who could have done something more in your mind? Is it
all of the players could have done something more? All of them.
Who did you expect to do more?
Because I expected Gio to do more. We put him centrally. We want him centrally. Dude, 2 chances created and no shots on goal in 3 games is unacceptable for a number 10, whether his name is Gio Reyna or whatever. Like, okay, let's go use Colombia. James Rodriguez plays a similar position. Okay, the system's different.
What a player.
Yeah, what a player. He finds his way into the game. He goes and picks up the ball and makes a difference. Gio can do that, and at times he does. I'm not saying he doesn't do it ever.
But it's not consistent.
It's not consistent. Now, okay, yeah, you can say, oh, well, look at all the players around it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. But if you even James Rodriguez, even if he wasn't surrounded by the Lucho Diaz's of the world and whoever else, he's still going to go find and make the game. So yeah, I have some expectations. Okay, cool. We got Gio in the middle. This is what we want. And it wasn't enough. I use him as an example. Weston, it wasn't enough. Christian, I thought was pretty solid. Flo did what he could, scored a couple good goals, and I thought his movement was very good. It was actually nice to play against a team that played a little higher up the higher line, so he could actually run in behind and really utilize the big part of his skill set.
And before he got injured against Uruguay, I thought we were finding his feet a lot more. And so that opened up play. So then you could see the connections happening. And it was really exciting. And that needs to happen more. And this is against the best team in our group. And we didn't do that against Bolivia. We barely found his feet. And I know that's part of the transition when you're getting together. But by now we should understand his strengths, and he's got great movement, and his touch was good. It was unfortunate we didn't get to see more from that game because, like you said, they were pressing us high, so we were able to play through and go more direct, and there was space underneath for Florian Balogun. But it wasn't enough throughout the whole tournament, and that's disappointing. It
is, and I guess the next question is, okay, if those guys aren't performing, then who are we going to bring off the bench to then raise the level? And not that a lot of the guys got that much of an opportunity, but outside of Ricardo Pepi against Bolivia,
which would have happened, which probably would have happened if Colombia didn't go to shit and lose 5-1. If we didn't lose 5-1, we probably would have seen players getting a chance against Brazil, because you didn't have that embarrassment where now Greg has to stick with the same guys to go, actually, we do have the fight. We got to prove to everyone we can do this. And then you lose the opportunity to play some of these other guys that maybe would have gotten a shot, or we would have been given more time, which then
that's on the players that came in, Charlie, right? In that Colombia game. You come in and you're down 2-1, and the last thing you should be doing is coasting and switching off. And that the lack of intensity is the reason why Colombia just ran riot over us in that last 15, 20 minutes. So that actually probably gave Greg an understanding of who he can't trust to come in. So to your point, I agree with you. He still played
Cameron Carter-Vickers in the Panama game, and he was shocking in the Colombia game. So then how does that make sense? Tell me how that makes sense.
It doesn't. You have every right to feel that way, Charlie. I agree with you.
All right, so to go back to James really quick as the example, 6 shots on goal, creates 11 chances for Colombia, 3 assists, takes all the set pieces. The guy's got such a silky left foot, it's pretty ridiculous. But he doesn't play a lot for his club team. And so it's just kind of funny. Now, he might be an anomaly, one of those guys that doesn't play a lot or play well for his club team, but anytime he puts on the national team shirt, it's just a different beast. But I did want to make sure we finished out that comparison of a number 10 who is expected to drive his team forward and help them create opportunities and help them transition from the defense to the attack. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. And so I guess
the unpacking's not going to stop. I'll tell you that right now.
Nor should it.
No, we'll just keep going.
Nor should it.
We're here for all y'all in the chat.
We are. We appreciate the support as always. We're going to end the show here, but we want to remind everybody that the U23s, the Olympics, is coming up. There'll be some overage players. Which ones? We don't know. The roster is going to be dropped on Monday, July 8th. And guess when our next podcast is? Monday, July 8th. So we're going to have a lot to talk about once that roster drops. We hope you come back and join us like always. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, follow us on all the podcast platforms of choice. And we appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you to all of our producers for making this super easy for me and Chuck and McBrizzle. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for triggering me. I appreciate it.
Trigger time with Chuck. Woo!
All together, of course, you've got Germany taking on Spain and Portugal against France. We'll be looking ahead to Frank's side in that clash against Portugal later on in the show. But let's kick things off, shall we, with Spain against Germany. An exciting tie and one that Sid Lowe has always graced us with his presence. Thank you very much, Sid Lowe, for joining this ahead of the game, which has got so many different subplots going into it. Just a reminder how both teams got here. Spain have really caught the eye. So impressive, of course, not only in the group stages, but that second half performance as well against Georgia. Meanwhile, for Germany, they started very, very well, didn't they, against Scotland? And since then, you feel they've stuttered slightly, but in the end, it was a comfortable 2-0 victory against Denmark, which sets up this brilliant clash against Spain, which I think, Sid's fair to say, this could be a final.
Yeah, and that's been the basis of the things that the two managers have said. They've talked about this as a game that could potentially be a final, although, of course, they're both aware that after it, there will be more. I think they probably are the best two teams in the competition so far. Certainly Spain have been far better than any of us expected, including those of us watching them from a Spanish perspective, by the way. I think that's really, they've really taken us, and particularly the two wingers. And actually it was interesting listening to Luis de la Fuente today talk about these as being two teams that are very similar in terms of a midfield that wants possession, in terms of wingers that are very, very quick, very, very direct, as teams that try to create a lot of chances and want to push themselves onto the other team, that when they do lose the ball, want to get the ball back very quickly and want to play as high as possible. At the same time, Nagelsmann today was talking about plans, and you don't normally get this from managers, talking about the way that he wants to stop Rodri, for example, getting possession, the way that he wants to stop Lamine Yamal running at them. And it was very striking that Nagelsmann today kind of projected this idea of a manager who's saying to people, I've got this under control. Of course, tomorrow will show whether or not he really does.
Proper game, innit, Macca?
Yes, two very impressive sides. Germany come out of the doldrums, hasn't he? Toni Kroos is back, as you mentioned before. Some lovely subplots. Spain have been outstanding to watch. They play with a real plan, don't they? Rodri, I think, is an incredibly gifted player, really makes them tick. I'm looking for, as you said before, what a wonderful day of football tomorrow. Forget England.
Don't worry. That'll be miserable Saturday.
We've got some lovely football tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it.
And of course, part of that is you've got some great youngsters who've lit up this tournament. Obviously, Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal, you've got Florian Wirtz, you've got Musiala, and they're just so much fun to watch. And you look at these two Spanish players who have really caught the eye, and we follow La Liga, we know how good they are. But the fact that they've taken this now to the national team is something, we mentioned England, some players can't do.
Exactly, that's the main thing. The way they're capable of show their maturity at the age, playing for the national team, and the pressure that you have is completely different than the club game that you have week in, week out. It's you have to be above all the standards, and they already are. And we were not expecting that from Nico Williams. I think Nico Williams surprised me a lot in a very good way. But in a Spanish team, you have to also add Fabian Ruiz. I saw him playing for the Ligue 1 with Paris Saint-Germain, and he hasn't been that good comparing to what I saw since the beginning of the tournament. So Spain in the middle of the park with Rodri, of course, and Fabian Ruiz, and on the side with the two young guys, they're very prepared to go very, very far. Don't forget Cucurella.
Who you said, what was the quote that went big in England about Cucurella?
I don't remember what I said, but I discovered another player. I mean, what he does offensively...
Worst defender in the world, I think you said.
Worst defender in the world. That was
yeah. Well, you know, maybe Spain is not part of the world.
That's only in the Chelsea shirt, isn't it?
No, but that was it was at the moment.
Yeah.
At that moment, you know, I was disappointed by the and don't forget it was 65 million, something like that.
Yes.
From Brighton, I think. But what I see right now, I mean, the guy is unstoppable. What he brings offensively and helps Nico Williams to find some spaces, but also defensively, is great. And Spain they were very, very consistent. They were consistent, all game long. They played, don't forget, they played Georgia, Albania, Italy, and Croatia, which are not the best team in the world. Even Croatia at the end of the generation. But they showed consistency.
Yeah.
Comparing to Germany, where the second game and the third game, they started to show a little bit of tiredness. We'll see.
Yeah, we will indeed, Sid. And obviously, Nico Williams is, I think it's fair to say, the star of the tournament so far.
He's been brilliant, hasn't he? He's been really brilliant. And actually, it's worth picking up on what Frank was saying there in terms of the surprise. Now, those of us who watched La Liga are not surprised that Nico is really good. We're not surprised that Lamine Yamal is really good. And although we're not watching the French league, we knew that Fabian could play because the Spanish national team has had a degree of faith in him before. But those three positions that Frank was pointing out, it's absolutely true that before the tournament, if you were asked to write down the Spanish starting 11, you probably wouldn't have had Cucurella in it. You certainly wouldn't have before the injuries to Balde and to José Luis Gaya. And even then, you would have probably had Grimaldo ahead of him. In the middle of midfield, the doubt was always about who would partner Rodri. And it might not have been Fabian. It might have been Mikel Merino. And up front, while we all knew that Lamine and Nico were going to play, I think most of us thought that one of them would. That he would risk one really dynamic winger and he would have the other winger as a kind of a ball-playing winger that would come inside. Someone like Dani Olmo, for example, or someone like Mikel Oyarzabal, someone who would maybe have a little bit more experience. And so those three players, who were the players that might not have been in this starting 11, have all been absolutely phenomenal. And as you say, Nico Williams has been fantastic. I think the clarity with which he makes decisions has surprised us. I think we knew he was talented, but to take it to this level, and him and Lamine have without doubt been the kind of, if you like, the stars of the Spanish team, not just in terms of how they've played, but in terms of how they symbolise that idea that this is a fresh, dynamic, more direct Spanish team than we've seen in previous tournaments.
How old are you, Maka? Like when you started travelling with Liverpool with the first team?
18.
You're quite young. But
yeah, 17, 18.
Like Lamine Yamal's 16 and doing it. And we knew how great it is for Barcelona, but then to step it up and again for Spain.
He's been very direct. He can go both ways. He's quick, of course, very, very confident. I mean, Nico Williams has been the standout player for me because, you know, he's at an unfashionable club. I know Bilbao are a great club, athletic club, wonderful stadium. But will they be able to keep hold of him now? Because he's suddenly jumped onto the world stage. Everybody's looking at him. A lot more clubs with a lot more money than Athletic Club will be now circling for him because he's a young, vibrant, entertaining player who skips past people, and that's what people want to see, don't they?
50 million release fee as well.
That's nothing. That's nothing bad, is nothing for the 21-year-old who's playing like this, is it?
Let's take a look at everyone's predictions, shall we? It's interesting, just one of our panel believe it will be Germany who will be going through, and that is Mr. Leboeuf. 3-2, Frank. You think it's going to be that open?
Yes, I give the advantage of Germany because they are the host. They play at home and it can make the difference. And again, as I mentioned, you know, Spain played against Georgia, Albania, Italy, and Croatia. We are not the best team in the world, so it's going to be a real test for them to see if they move onto a different level. Because we didn't expect to see the Spanish at that level before the competition. We all put England, Portugal, France, Germany, but not the Spanish. So I want to see it. But I still believe that Germany at home will go till the end and even beat the French, so I say my prediction, but beat the English at the end.
All right, good, thank you. Yeah, stick that in for no
Just
reason.
So you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely unnecessary. Sid, what's
the England to get to the final?
Well, you know, because I want them to be beaten by the Germans.
Sid, what's the narrative around Germany going into this tie?
Well, from a Spanish point of view, the narrative is that this is a genuinely good team. And that one of the things that was really interesting today was listening to how much Luis de la Fuente talked about Germany as being similar to them. In terms of a team that wants the ball, in terms of a team that attacks from the wings, in terms of a team that has a kind of a profile that's the same. It was striking from my point of view, at least, that he didn't talk about the things that make them different. And he was talking about this as being absolutely a 50-50 game. There's a huge amount of respect for Germany. That said, it hasn't been lost on people that Spain haven't actually lost to the Germans since 1988. So they've done a pretty good run.
Yeah, not bad at all. Goodness gracious me.
Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Alan Shearer, me, Gary Lineker, and Micah Richards. The round of 16 is over and we now know the final 8 teams left standing in Euro 2024 that will compete in the quarterfinals. We'll get onto those games in just a moment, but before we do that, Micah, you're not here in Berlin, you've popped home. We miss you. How are you doing?
Miguel!
It's
been about 10 hours, that's all, lads.
Well, yeah, I know, but it feels like 3 days.
I am missing you two, actually.
When you coming back? When you come and join us again?
I'll be back on Friday, but you won't be there, will you, Al? You're travelling to Dusseldorf.
I'm travelling to Dusseldorf for the England game for the co-coms on Saturday afternoon, / evening, yep.
Micah, something just happened to us on the way here.
Oh,
to the studio,
something
to this
like
apartment
what?
studio tonight. Yeah, we were wandering back. We had a little bit of Italian, which was lovely. A little bit of food after we did the early game, and came here to watch the Austria-Turkey game. And we walked past, you know, that little, that's kind of a little shop on the way, and there's the kind of musical theatre place on the way. And there was a guy out there with, there's a little crowd of people, and the guy starts shouting to me and Alan in German. And I'm saying, oh, I'm sorry, I don't speak German, you speak English. And he said, yeah, I speak English. He said, I want to know, he said, how long have you two been together? You are really lovely. You are a really lovely couple. Right? Honestly, I swear this is true, right? So I said to him, I said, well, actually, since 1992. February 1992, I remember it well.
I thought he was concerned that some fucking old man was about to abduct me or something like that.
Says the spring chicken from Geordieland.
Honestly, I've never been so offended in all my life.
Why?
I'm sorry, but yeah.
Oh, that's a bit harsh.
That's a good couple, though, wouldn't you?
What? I think we would.
We did have lovely meal and a lovely bottle of wine, though, didn't we?
We did.
We were holding hands together?
Well,
or?
I thought we should as we walked away into the distance, but we didn't. It was a lot of fun. In fact, it's been a fun day. We're staying in a hotel, and obviously we're staying in a hotel with BBC and stuff, and the hotel put this thing out today, and they sent it to all the rooms, and I've got it here, and it's saying, wishing you another great day in Berlin for the Euro 2024 Championships. It is all just a question of sport. And I thought, question of sport? Really, that's strange. And it's gone, the question. In 1996, the championships were held in England. For 2 points, how many teams competed in the final that year? And who was the top scorer for the tournament? I mean, and I thought, Shearer's been to reception here and asked them to do this. This is outrageous. So anyway, here's my reply. 16, and can you see it, Mike? It says Alan fucking Shearer. I was throwing that away.
I asked the management to put that on.
Did you actually do that?
No, I didn't. No.
Come on, you did. They didn't just do that. Let's be honest.
Outrageous behaviour. We've got 8 teams left now. And we had a little thing, didn't we, where we'd predict all the results and who would go through and to see who did the best. Now, Alan did really well up until today.
6 out of 6 I had until this morning.
And then what happened?
Nosedived.
Because
Last 2 incorrect. I went with Romania and I went with Austria.
You did. Mike had a bad start because his heart ruled his head. And you went with Italy over Switzerland, which actually everyone after that was right, Micah. You even went with Turkey against Austria. I mean, who would have thought of that? Well, me.
How many did you get right, Gaz?
8 out of 8.
8 out of 8.
The only time in my life. Amazing. So I was really quite happy with that. So
You just copied me, though, didn't you, with the Turkey? Because I went different with Turkey, because I went second on the pick, and then you was like, oh, actually, I was going to go Turkey as well.
Well, if you listen back, I was going, no, you can't do that, because that's what I was going to do, because I thought it would differentiate me. But I've forgotten you'd failed miserably with Italy anyway. So, I got them all right. Amazing.
Should be a pundit.
Should have had a bet. Yeah, but there we go. Who's impressed you most in the last 16?
Spain. Still.
Go on, tell us more.
I just think everything they've done in every single game, I think they've had a plan. And for the vast majority of the minutes they've played, they've stuck to it and it's worked for them. I think they've been absolutely outstanding and they without doubt have been the best team.
I would agree with that to a certain extent. I think they're scoring a lot of goals. I think the balance of the team is right. I think with Ruiz and Rodri in midfield, Williams and Yamal in the wings, and then you've got Morata up front making those runs. But they do leave themselves exposed a lot. They press really high, which is good. attacking football that we all want to see, of course. But there was moments in that game against Georgia where they were open, really, really open. And yes, they look electric, but I just worry going further in the tournament, they'll have to shore it up a little bit.
Germany next.
I mean, Germany are a good side. I said at the start of the tournament, especially after that first win against Scotland, you don't know how much of a measure that was going to be because Scotland looked really nervous in the opening. They had the home advantage and everything. But I just thought the balance in the team was perfect with Tony Kroos in midfield, Andrić as well, and then Gundogan just in front. Wirtz and Musiala sort of playing number 10s and number 8 roles. And then Havertz leading the line. The balance of the team looked really good, but I just think as well, they can be got at as well with Germany. So I would say they're impressive, but I don't think they're the finished article just yet.
Switzerland
have been really impressive. They play England next. You went for Italy actually, but I think that was more heart than head. And obviously because you played in Italy for 3 weeks, and
with like half the world.
Yeah.
So many players.
It's amazing how many players that have got stories even in this tournament that you played with at Fiorentina.
Yeah.
Firenze. In Firenze.
Firenze, let's get it right. We had Ilicic, who had that remarkable story about him sort of overcoming depression. We did it on the show at BBC. It was a great moment. And then he took a penalty, didn't he? And he missed it, which I was devastated for him.
Let's talk about that game, actually, because, I mean, it was amazing, wasn't it? Because obviously, Diogo Costa, who made 3 saves, he was the hero of the day because they had a one-on-one, didn't they, when Pepe gave it away as well. And Šeško went through one-on-one, didn't he? And the keeper saved it, and then he saved all the penalties in the shootout. But even then, the day was not about him, was it? It ended up being about Cristiano Ronaldo, who kind of had about 4 free kick attempts, I think, who had missed penalty, who had a one-on-one with the goalkeeper and missed them, and then obviously burst into tears and he got all emotional, and it became about him. Do you think that becomes a little bit of a problem for Portugal?
Well, I said, didn't I, before ball was kicked, that if Portugal are going to go deep into the tournament, it all depends on how Roberto Martinez handles him and deals with him. And that still is the case because he's played every game. I know he took him off in the 3rd game, but other than him, I think the goalkeeper and Paulinho, it was the whole of the team was rested for the 3rd group game. And then the game, I mean, that game was sort of summed it up, is that is how it is going to be for Portugal. It has to be about Ronaldo. I mean, he's 39 years of age. Clearly, he's not as good as he was. He's not as quick as he was. He's not as sharp as he was in the box, but his movement is still...
It's fantastic.
Very, very good. He obviously demands to play every game. He demands to take every free kick, which, I mean, you got Bruno Fernandes on there, who's a wonderful free kick taker.
He's way better than actually.
And he had, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, and one of them was from ridiculous angle where he had to get on it and he had to shoot. And then obviously the penalty, and then he bursts into tears after that. It was hysterical, wasn't it? It was like...
I mean, obviously I had experience of kind of an emotional outburst on a pitch with 1990 with Gaza, but that was slightly different. That was, after he committed a foul and the referee gave him a yellow card, and it meant that he wouldn't, if we had beaten Germany, which, we nearly did. We hit the inside of the post in extra time, Chris Waddle, and if we'd have, won that game, he wouldn't have been able to play in the final. So you can understand his emotion for that. But But the Ronaldo thing's just a missed penalty. You know, it's like a missed chance. And he hasn't scored in the tournament. You know that he wants that record of having scored in like 6 Euros. No one's ever played in 6 Euros, but let alone scoring all of them. So you understand, you know, why he would have desperately wanted to score. Fine. And then brilliant save from Oblak. Wasn't a bad penalty. It was absolutely fabulous save.
Yeah, amazing.
But the team weren't losing. There was still lots to play for, and it was kind of almost. I don't want to say this, but it was almost like a schoolboy that is a really talented schoolboy that things don't happen for, and then he has a little bit of a breakdown. I've seen it, but it was different to the Gaza thing. And Gaza was just, you know, his bottom lip went slightly, but this was a kind of a full outburst. But it is amazing, though. I mean, it just shows you that he's so driven, which is one of the reasons why he's as great as he is in many ways.
Well,
but the problems, does that give Roberto? I think Roberto Martinez has handled him really well, because he said you either say to Ronaldo, you're completely out or you're completely in. I don't think you can have any middle ground.
No.
But I watch him and I still think he's a massive threat in the box. His movement's brilliant. He can't quite climb as high as he used to do.
No.
But, you know, he still might do something. But if he takes him off, if he'd have taken him off in that game, which he could conceivably have done after he was emotional, that would have caused a furore in the camp. So I think it's a very delicate issue with him, and whether that will have any kind of negative effect on or impactful effect on how Portugal finish the tournament, we'll have to wait and see.
Just before you come in, Micah, we've both had our say. When he's missed his penalty, and it was a magnificent save. But given all the things we've said, it has to be about Ronaldo. It's all about him missing a couple of chances, whatever, taking the free kicks. But for him to have the balls, which he had to do, I mean, he had to get up, he had to go up first and take that first penalty in the shootout after what he had done in terms of missing 15, 20 minutes before that. I mean, that took some nuts to do that, and then to stick it away.
One thing we know about Ronaldo, he's got balls of steel.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. And then for him to stick it in the side net and with a bit of whip on it was, I mean, you've got to give him huge credit for
What a moment.
Yeah.
I think we got to put ourselves in the mind of Cristiano Ronaldo there, because
I don't know how you do that.
but you guys were great players, and you had to deal with big moments. But every moment of his life is documented. And for whatever reason, rightly or wrongly, having to deal with that on a day-to-day basis, for me, that was just all his emotion coming out. He wants to be the leader. He wants to be the main man. And he thought he'd let his country down in one of the most important moments of the competition. And he knows that's not him. So I agree with Alan in terms of having the balls, having the courage to go up and take the penalty and score it, by the way. Score it, not just take it again, because just having that sort of attitude to go up to it and take the penalty, and he could have missed, but he took responsibility. And that is the difference. And that is why he's one of the greatest of all time. I mean,
what about the free kicks, though, Micah? Do you know? I mean,
but that's up to your teammates, isn't it? Come on,
it's not, though, is it?
You've got
it's
some teammates who are brilliant at free kicks.
I don't know. You guys have played with some top players. I've not played with a
The ref stops the game whenever he wants, when he thinks it's at the end of it. So don't go to complain. He has the right to do so. We didn't show the free kick where a goal was disallowed for Colombia. I don't see I didn't see the offside. I'm sorry. Even with the The slow motion, I didn't see the offside. Very surprising.
So a few surprising pointers in this one. When it comes to Group D, both sides progress anyway. Brazil have booked their spot in the knockout stages, but they will be without Vinicius Jr. in the quarterfinals, and Colombia are the group winners. Let's now welcome in Gustavo Hoffman, because we do want to focus in on Brazil right now, if we can. Gustavo, that was a good game to watch, as you've just seen in the studio. Lots to talk about, very entertaining, maybe more so for us because we're not Brazilian football fans.
Yeah, hello Keo, hello Steve, Frank, my friend Chaka. Well, it was more entertaining for the Colombians because Colombia was much better than Brazil. The Colombian team played at least 80 minutes better than Brazil. We saw the highlights of the match, but between these highlights, and you can check the first minutes and then the latest minutes, between that, Colombia created many chances. We saw the statistics, we saw the expected goals. Colombia created more chances. In the last minutes also, Rafael Borré had an incredible chance to make 2-1 to Colombia. Yes, it's true, there was a penalty for Brazil at this scene with Daniel Munoz and Vinicius Jr. But I cannot say that Brazil deserved the victory, that Brazil deserved a better result. Colombia was the best team on the field. And why is Brazil not playing so well? Brazil had the second match at Copa America. They really played well. The first not against Colombia. The Colombian team was better. Brazil is living a new process with Dorival Jr. They have only 7 matches with Dorival Jr. And we have to remember that Brazil, the Brazilian Football Confederation, lost the year at 2023. Brazil really lost this year. So this new process is beginning with also a transition from the old leaders. We don't have any more Casemiro there. We don't have any more Thiago Silva. Neymar, who is not a leader by example, but he's the technical reference of this team, is not playing. So we're living this kind of transition with a new manager and a terrible year, probably the worst year in the history of the Brazilian national team, 2023.
When it comes to the next game, no Vini Jr., as we just saw, Gustavo. What does that mean for Brazil?
Endrick. This has to be the answer. Dorival is taking a lot of care with Endrick. The Brazilian fans want Endrick to be a starter from the first match already. But I think that now, without Vinicius Jr., you have an easy solution. You can move Rodrigo to the left and place Endrick in the center. So you don't have to make any magic here. You can also play with Rafinha or Savinho on the right. You can have Paquetá in the middle of creating the opportunities ahead João Gomes and Bruno Guimarães. But for me, the answer is Endrick. He's just a kid. He will complete 18 years old. And when he completes 18 years old, he will be a Real Madrid player. But I think that Vinicius made an amazing match in the second match against Paraguay. Against Colombia, he and the whole team didn't play well, but of course that Brazil will miss Vinicius because he's the best player of Brazil nowadays.
Now, I know you said there can be no complaints about the yellow card in that sense on the pitch on the night, Stevie, but does it seem harsh, a rule like this, that with 2 yellow cards in the first 3 games, you then miss and are suspended for a quarter-final?
Well, it depends how you look at it. I mean, you get booked twice in 3 games, then you're clearly not in control. I mean, that's how they look at it. And at the end of the day, they look at it in the sense of, well, you know, if we just get rid of this, then they think that it gives players license to kick people. And I'm telling you this because I've asked, when I was in MLS, I asked all the officials, all the board members, the referees committee, everybody, and that was the reason for suspending players picking up yellows in the playoffs, for example, because they don't want players to be able to have a free kick at somebody. That's it, and that's exactly what they're doing. They don't want people to go out and kick another player and get away with it, and so that's why they have this rule, whether you like it or whether you don't. Personally, I don't like it, but that's why they do it.
Let me also say, in this incident, I think Vinicius Jr. has to take that yellow and walk away as quickly as he possibly could. Vinicius Jr. is coming head on to James Rodriguez. And at first look, I thought it was an elbow. I thought Vinicius would see red. As it turns out, it was more the forearm, which is why it was yellow and not red. But I thought there was absolutely no excusing that from Vinicius Jr. Not that I've ever seen Vinicius Jr. do anything like this, but I thought, take the yellow and just walk away without complaint, because it's so easily. Another official could have seen this completely differently. And for the context, I have to offer the caveat that Gustavo is Brazilian, so I understand his disappointment. But I thought Brazil were the better team. I thought James Rodriguez, arguably their best player on the park, certainly for Colombia. And he was the difference. But I thought pound for pound, and certainly in that first half, I thought Brazil was the better team, but then Colombia managed the second half better, knowing a draw would see them finish top of the group. So I kind of saw it a little bit differently than Gustavo did.
I don't agree with Shaka, because I really think that, maybe there are more talents, but the rhythm of the game, the pace of the game was given by the Colombian. The energy that they put on was given by the Colombians. It's a pity to see players, diving for almost nothing, complaining like they had broken legs, every 30 seconds. That was kind of boring. But overall, I like the energy of the game. But I felt that the Brazilians had to suffer against the Colombian team because of the way they and how compact they were all together. Marquinhos said that they had to work more and to increase their performances if they want to go and win the CONMEBOL. But at the end of the day, I felt Colombian more precise in what they wanted to do. Even the coach knew exactly what to do. Don't forget that Carrasco and Borré, who had the chance to score at the latest minute, were coming from the bench. So that was everything was spot on for the Colombian, nothing much to say. Brazil, because they are Brazil, we expect much more.
Okay, can I ask Gustavo a question?
Yep.
Gustavo, let me ask you something. Something happened last night that I'm not new to this planet, as you might know.
Really?
The first time in my life I have heard a team playing against Brazil and they're Olean. Colombia were Olean Brazil. Yep. I have never seen it in my life ever before. Has it ever happened to you? Have you ever heard that?
No. I think that what is happening nowadays in South America, the other teams, except Argentina, of course, that Brazil and Argentina are at the same level, were always at the same level. But I think that the other teams look now to Brazil and they don't see Ronaldo, they don't see Romario, they don't see Cafu, Roberto Carlos, they don't see Neymar. And I think that these teams now, they don't, I don't know if the word is fear, but of course that they respect Brazil, but at least they play without fear against Brazil. And Colombia, they know that Brazil collectively nowadays is not a good team. Brazil has a group of excellent players. But Colombia, in my opinion, they don't have this kind of excellence in their group of players, but they are a stronger team. Talking about collectively, about football, they are a better team because their coach is there for a long time. The players know each other. Brazil, as I told you, is living this kind of transition, is looking for your way after a terrible year. So I think that everybody now in South America look at Brazil and think, man, we can win them, we can beat them.
Okay, well, let's talk about Brazil-Uruguay next coming up. Can Brazil go all the way in this tournament, Gustavo? Has anything changed on your opinion after what you've seen from them?
No, of course that Brazil can go all the way because Brazil, as I said, has a very talented group of players. Vinicius won't play, but you can have an extraordinary match of Rodrigo, for example, and Rodrigo can win matches at this Copa America as he has already won for Real Madrid in La Liga, in the Champions League with so many decisive goals. We have a group of talented players, but the team must be stronger. Dorival is trying to make that. I think that also this is a problem for Brazil because Dorival Jr. this is his first international experience. He's living this kind of experience for the first time. He has a long career working in the Brazilian league, of course, that also playing Libertadores, Copa Sul-Americana, but his experience was always in Brazil. Now he's living this kind of experience and playing it at the highest level against the strongest teams of the continent, soon against the strongest teams of the world in the World Cup. So I think that he's also learning from this moment. And I can give you an example. In the first match, when he sacks Vinicius in the middle of the second half, you don't sack your best player, the player who can win the Ballon d'Or this year, in the middle of the second half. Yes, I know that he wasn't playing so well, but Vinicius can win matches for you. And I think that the way that Dorival looked at the match at that day was like a club manager, not a national team manager. And he has to learn it fast because the pressure in Brazil is so high.
Yeah, and it feels as though Gustavo Hoffmann is definitely feeling it as a fan.
Also on Friday, it's Portugal against France. Of course, Portugal getting through so dramatically on penalties after extra time against Slovenia in the lead up to this tie. They won against Czechia easily, Turkey as well. Lost against Georgia, which were a weakened side. Meanwhile, for France, they've really limped their way, haven't they, to the knockout stages, to the quarter-finals. And much has been made of the fact that they just haven't found the back of the net. Obviously, just 3 goals in those 4 matches. But as we know for France, when it comes to the business end of these tournaments, they know how to get across the line. Julien Laurent is with us. How are you feeling, Jules, about Portugal?
I'm feeling pretty good, like Deschamps and Mbappe did today in the press conference. I think there's we said it yesterday a bit with Frank, but it's a very happy camp. The players and the manager are on the same page, and yet we can see from outside or for us inside here in Germany and have maybe a different perception than they have within the camp. But they have a plan, and they've just executed the plan really well so far. Of course, they can always play better. They can take those chances. They should score more goals. All of that is also true. But they are exactly where they want to be. They're going into this Portugal game as favourite. And Deschamps was saying something really interesting today. He said, yeah, I know Portugal very well. They want the ball. No problem for us. But remember, the Dutch wanted the ball and they became really cautious to play against us. The Belgium loved the ball. They became really cautious to play against us. So let's see what Portugal do then. If they want to get the ball and come at us, no problem. But it might not be exactly that tomorrow.
Frank, you're French.
Yeah, that would be the yes, supposedly, yeah. That would be the trap the Portuguese could fall in if they go and get the ball and play a little bit higher. It's what Deschamps is expecting. It's what he would love. It's what the players at front would love. Have some spaces behind the defensive line. That's what it is. It's why the Netherlands didn't go and been cautious, because they knew that if they would have done so, they would have been in trouble. So France is good defensively. They proved it. They're very solid. You just wait for one opportunity to score. If on top of it, on goals is still going to score, the best top scorer for France is going to make the difference. But they're not in danger because defensively they're very, very strong. And we saw Portugal playing where, in fact, only Ronaldo is in the 18-yard box, and we don't. They can only focus on one player and not different players. So I don't see France in danger. It can go into penalties, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, because it could be the most boring game we ever seen.
Oh, good. That'd be exciting. I don't know.
Well, we will have Germany, Spain before, to enjoy. But you have to know Deschamps. Didier Deschamps, 1-0, is happy.
Right.
If he's solid at the back, that's what he wants.
If it's 3-0, he's not happy. It's like, there's too much entertainment.
Something went wrong. No, but he doesn't want to concede a goal. He wants to be solid and get the opportunity to have like 2-3 chances, which he's going to have, and score a goal and bye-bye.
Cristiano Ronaldo, Maka, help or hindrance?
I think at this moment in time, with the squad they have, I think he's a bit of a hindrance at this moment. I think they've got enough quality on the pitch, off the pitch. When you look at the substitute bench, You've got great centre forwards who've been in good form, and I just think now, you know, he takes every free kick. He takes his persona on the pitch and his power on the pitch. His teammates are bowing to everything he wants to do, and I just think that takes away the little bit of magic. You know, of course he'll score goals. He gets into positions. He was very unfortunate in the last game not to get ahead of him, not to score goals early on in the game. But I just think there's enough quality there that they actually don't need him at the top of the pitch now.
But Jules, there's absolutely no way that Roberto Martinez is taking him off, say, after 60 minutes if things aren't going their way.
No chance. And it's a good debate to have, I think, for us, for people watching the show. It's good everybody would have a different opinion. I said before that for me, you start him, no problem. But then I don't think now, at almost 40 years old, he has the stamina and the fitness to be able to last 90 minutes. And we saw against Slovenia that he missed the penalty in extra time when clearly he was just not sharp anymore. And even that big chance in the 90th minute or just before on that left foot, one-on-one with Oblak, that usually he's buried hundreds of those. And this time he lacked a bit of that sharpness as well. But yeah, he's going to start, he's going to play until the end, whether that's 90 minutes, 120 minutes, penalty shootout, he's going to be there. There's no way Martinez, whether it's the right thing to do or not, is not having him the whole game.
I mean, if you're Gonzalo Ramos, for instance, or Diogo Jota, you know that once the squad is chosen, you're not going to play. I mean, that must be just devastating for them. Yeah. You know, they know there's going to play a little bit part if something goes wrong, but he has to play. You know, every free kick, Bruno Fernandes steps aside, Coutinho steps aside, because they know exactly what's going to happen.
Would there be... If you...
We are now underway in the first of the knockout matches in this season's Copa America, the defending champions with the early possession. And straight away an early touch for Lisandro Martinez, playing on the left-hand side of the centre-back pairing alongside Christian Romero. An early touch for Nicolas Tagliafico, had a goal disallowed in the game against Peru in the group stages. Lautaro Martinez has been the star of the tournament so far for Argentina, with 4 goals in the group games. The ball is played back to Emiliano Martinez, and back out to Christian Romero. Argentina have had the ball since kickoff so far haven't come out of their half, and there is a foul by Sarmiento. And a free kick to Argentina on the right-hand side, and they are back in possession again with Lisandro Martinez carrying the ball forward up towards the halfway line. Rodrigo de Paul trying to play the ball through the middle and successfully exchanging passes with Lionel Messi. And the ball is out wide now with Nicolas Gonzalez. Ecuador had briefly won it back, but here come Argentina again, edge of the penalty area. It's an important challenge from Kendry Páez to help get the ball away. And Ecuador eventually win a throw on the right-hand side. Final touch coming off Enzo Fernandez. And restored to central midfield. Enzo Fernandez of Chelsea, of course, playing alongside his, or playing up against his club teammates, I should say, of course. Moses Caicedo starting for Ecuador this evening. And Lisandro Martinez with the ball at his feet now for Argentina. Midway inside their own half, gives it to Romero. Carries the ball slowly up towards the halfway line. Lays it to Molina. Now Argentina looking to pass their way through, and it might break for Lautaro Martinez early on. It's an important clearance from the edge of the penalty area. It goes out for a throw-in to the holders. Enzo Fernandez making the run, just denied by a really important challenge from William Pacho. McAllister has it now for Argentina, loses out. And Hincapié clears downfield as Enner Valencia puts a little bit of pressure on Lisandro Martinez, who's able to play the ball back to his goalkeeper. And now the ball back with Romero once again. Across to Martinez. Inside the Argentina half still. No real pressing from Ecuador, so Argentina are able to build up slowly from the back. Romero again with the ball at his feet. Romero and Martinez have had a lot of the ball in these opening 3.5 minutes or so. Gonzalez with the touch now, finds Tagliafico. He does play it back to Lisandro Martinez and back to Romero. Out on the right-hand side, midway inside the Argentina half. Romero edging forward. Messi comes back and plays a little ball across to McAllister. And then Fernandez forward to Gonzalez. Could be a foul on Gonzalez here, but the referee allowing play to continue for now. Playing the advantage, and Argentina retain possession on the halfway line. Molina, and now McAllister. Plays it out to the left, miscontrolled by Rodrigo de Paul. It's gone out for a throw-in to Ecuador. Lionel Scaloni, they're hoping his side can do what they've managed to do so often in this competition against this opposition. Rarely been troubled. They've never been beaten. Felix Sanchez, the head coach of Ecuador, hoping his side can make history this evening. Never gone beyond the quarterfinal stage outside of their own country, Ecuador. I know what a big challenge they have on their hands here against the reigning champions. The winner of this match will face either Venezuela or Canada in the semi-finals to be played on the 9th of July in New Jersey. as Ecuador come forward, and there was some danger there on the edge of the penalty area. Messi'S Caicedo, he looked as though he was about to unleash a shot at goal, and the intervention from Romero prevented him from doing so. The ball ends up in the arms of Martinez, who calmly gets the ball out to his defenders. First real moment of danger in the match there, and it could easily have been Ecuador to snatch an early lead. Another misplaced pass from Alexis McAllister, and the ball goes out of play for a throw-in. Argentina, who have been dominant in possession in these early stages, almost caught out early on. It was a good run from Messi'S Caicedo towards the edge of the penalty area. Didn't get the chance to get the shot away. They were looking dangerous. Now Argentina on the move as the ball is played out to Gonzalez. And it's recovered. Was Preciado. Put his foot in there for Ecuador. The ball is back with Argentina again. Romero forward out to the left-hand side for Gonzalez. Miguel Preciado dealing with the danger once again. It's fired upfield towards the halfway line. Back into the Ecuador half by Argentina, but the ball now at the feet of the goalkeeper, Alexander Dominguez. It's Ecuador coming forward now. Carlos Gruezo playing the ball back into his own penalty area. Ian Pacho coming under a little bit of pressure, but manages to get the ball away. Held up on the halfway line by Ana Valencia, being forced back into his own half by Alessandro Martinez. As Argentina win the ball back just inside their own half. And the referee just stopping play because Ecuador have a man down currently. Messi'S Caicedo it is. Tussling with Alexis McAllister. Stayed down, holding his left leg. Messi'S Caicedo. A number of players, of course, who play club football in the Premier League. Argentina, Christian Romero and Sandro Martinez, both Premier League players. Romero with Spurs, Martinez with Manchester United, of course. Alexis McAllister is at Liverpool, Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea. And Emi Martinez, the goalkeeper at Aston Villa. Ecuador also have a number of Premier League players in their starting 11. Jeremy Sarmiento of Brighton spent some of last season on loan at Ipswich Town, newly promoted to the Premier League, of course. Messi'S Caicedo is a Chelsea player. As Argentina are awarded a free kick just inside the Ecuador half. Ball played to Tagliafico. Now it's with Lisandro Martinez inside the centre circle, plays it out wide. One back by Messi'S Caicedo, but Ecuador unable to hold it initially. Ecuador have taken it quickly. Messi'S Caicedo with the ball at his feet, whips it into the penalty area. It's a decent header away. Now it's Caicedo again, cuts inside, but loses out in the challenge, and then tries to win it back, and then there is a foul by Kendry Paez on Alexis McAllister down by the touchline. free kick to Argentina. Ball down at the feet of Emiliano Martinez. Now with Romero. Given away though by Argentina. William Pancho plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper Dominguez. Torres now plays it forward. Midway inside the Ecuador half. A long crossfield ball out to the left-hand side, and a little slip allows Molina to get a challenge in, but it's with Caicedo again. Plays a decent ball over the top. It might just be kept in here by Sarmiento. It is. But Molina is there to cover. And Argentina have won the ball back once more and just settle things down. Just ever slightly too much on that ball over the top from Moises Caicedo. Sarmiento just struggling to keep that ball in play and couldn't hold on to it. Argentina have possession again now with Romero. Out to the right from Molina. Molina plays it forward, but it's cut out easily by William Pancho. Ecuador have it again. Valencia tries to beat his man, goes to ground, no foul according to the Uruguayan official, as Argentina come forward now on the left-hand side with Gonzalez. Back though by Ecuador. And now get a throw in. As Lautaro Martinez charges down the clearance of Preciado. 13.5 minutes gone. No goals so far. Preciado with the throw in. Ecuador still holding on to possession here. It's with the goalkeeper. Plays it forward. Now it's out to the right-hand side for Gruezo's on the touchline, and he's forced to play it backwards to Felix Torres. Now Dominguez, the goalkeeper, launching it long down the left-hand side. One back by Caicedo for Ecuador, and Caicedo's kept the ball in play. Keeps going down the wing, plays it into the penalty area. What a chance this is for the opening goal. What a save by Emi Martinez. And now the shot does come in from the edge of the penalty area. Over the top from Kendry Páez. But what an opportunity for Sarmiento just moments earlier. Biggest moment of the game so far. It was great work down the left from Moises Caicedo. Played the ball into the penalty area. Sarmiento beat Romero and then looked to get the shot away. It was blocked by Martinez. And the ball eventually falling to Páez on the edge of the penalty area, who did get another shot away. But couldn't hit the target. A really good moment for Ecuador, and what an opportunity. First big chance in the opening quarter of an hour here. And Ecuador will feel they should have taken the lead. Preciado with the throw for Ecuador, and there's a foul. Moises Caicedo this time, just inside the Argentina half. Staying down here, Caicedo. It's caught by Alexis McAllister. That is turning into a good battle between those two. William Pancho now for Ecuador. Out to Felix Torres. Takes it up to the halfway line and then fires a lovely through ball into the penalty area. It's picked up by Ana Valencia. It's forced out wide, and he gets a cross in, and it's forced over the bar by Preciado. Really nice move again from Ecuador. Torres with a fabulous through ball into the penalty area. Valencia's touch took him quite far wide. He was able to pull it back to the edge of the 6-yard box, and Preciado able to keep his effort down. It goes over the bar. Some really encouraging signs here from Ecuador, but now the ball through the middle, looking for Lautaro Martinez. Has he been able to stay on side? The flag has stayed down. The ball is won back by Ecuador. Now the flag does go up. The danger there of Lautaro Martinez got on to the end of an Enzo Fernandez through ball. Ecuador did well to recover, and the flag did go up eventually. If Martinez had found a way through, looks as though he would have been comfortably onside. So he would have been able to go on and score from that position. Proeza now for Ecuador. Preciado gives it away just inside the Ecuador half. The ball towards Leo Messi is cut out by Caicedo. He's been pretty involved in the early stages here. Caicedo has it again. Exchanges a couple of passes and wins it back and drives forward and plays a lovely ball out to the left-hand side. And the cross comes in towards Enner Valencia, and Argentina scramble it behind for another corner. And Ecuador looking the more dangerous of the two teams at the moment. A really good ball into the penalty area from Hincapié. And they have their second corner. 18 minutes gone. No goals in this quarter-final so far, and Ecuador have had the better of the chances. It's another short corner routine. Comes to Caicedo, fires the ball in low. It's come to the edge of the penalty area, and Sarmiento just couldn't quite get the ball to his feet, and now Argentina looking to break away with Lautaro Martinez. There is a foul on Molina, who was trying to get away, and he is saying to the Uruguayan official that that should be a yellow card. Calls as he was looking to break away by Hincapié. He gets away without a booking. Argentina get play back underway. 19 minutes gone. So look to build first really significant attack of the game. They've had a lot of possession, haven't really been able to create a serious chance yet. Ecuador have had the better of those big moments. Perhaps a little unlucky not to be 1-0 up in this game. Ballless with Tagliafico. Played out wide to Gonzalez. And back to Tagliafico again. Crosses the play out to the right-hand side. Molina finding Rodrigo de Paul. Now McAllister looking to switch the play once more out to the left-hand side this time. Gonzalez with the ball into Enzo Fernandez. It's on the edge of the penalty area before it's cleared by Ecuador. Throw in taken quickly. Tagliafico. Finally McAllister. Played back towards the centre circle by Enzo Fernandez. So Argentina enjoy another spell of controlled possession. Messi gets a touch and plays it back into the centre circle once again. Gonzalez trying to beat his man, but Preciado making the challenge. The ball out of play for a throw. Tagliafico takes. The ball is helped on. As Argentina look to build, well, unable to hold it initially. Now they do have it down the left-hand side, and it's a good ball to Enner Valencia down in the corner. Hasn't got a lot of support. Over here, the danger for Ecuador, who's struggling to clear their lines. Finally, they do get it out of the penalty area. Comes to McAllister, tries a long-range effort, and now there is a foul on Moises Caicedo again. Lieutenant Valencia actually has been caught here. He's gone down holding his left ankle. Just as Ecuador were perhaps threatening to break once again. It's the challenge by Christian Romero that has left him on the floor in pain. And Argentina perhaps with their best moment. Just a short time ago, Messi involved. Nicolas Gonzalez it was trying to cut the ball back into the middle of the penalty area. Preciado with some important defending. First time that they've looked particularly threatening here. Argentina in this first half as we approach the midway point of it. Goalless in Houston. Quarter of the way through this first quarter-final of the 2024 Copa America. Argentina in possession, but lose out inside their own half, and now Ecuador threatening once again, looking for a free kick not given by the referee, who's happy to let quite a lot go here at the moment. Some pretty strong challenges going in that he's waving away. Certainly keeping the game flowing so far. Sandro Martinez plays the ball out to the right-hand side for Lionel Messi on the halfway line. Comes in field into the centre circle and plays it forward. Looks for an exchange of passes with Enzo Fernandez, who just gives the ball away. And now it is Ecuador on the move with Caicedo. Does really well to hold off a couple of challenges and plays the ball to Alan Franco. And now it's out to the left-hand side again. Forced backwards this time to William Pancho. And Dominguez, the goalkeeper, getting a touch on the ball as he clips it out to the right-hand side for Felix Torres. Gruezo. Now it's with Paez. Plays it out to the left-hand side. Piero Sapie wins a throw-in. Bayer Leverkusen left-back. Paez has it. The ball goes out of play for into Argentina. Back with Emi Martinez now. Plays it out to the right-hand side for Romero. Plays it back to the Aston Villa goalkeeper. Had around 64% of the possession in this first half, Argentina, but the best chances have been for their opponents. Sarmiento and Paez coming closest to opening the scoring in this quarter-final. These two sides met just a few days before the start of the tournament. 1-0 win for Argentina on that occasion. Angel Di Maria scored the only goal of the game. McAllister has it now for Argentina. Plays it out to the right-hand side. And it's with Molina. And now perhaps the chance to break forward Argentina. Back out to the right once more with Rodrigo de Paul. Now Alexis McAllister. Argentina have plenty of numbers forward here. Can they find a way through this Ecuador defence? Nicolas Gonzalez coming inside from the left wing position. Forced to play it to Rodrigo de Paul. Now Romero leaves it for Molina. De Paul, and back to Romero, and he plays it back to Martinez inside the centre circle. Out to the right-hand side for De Paul. Carries it infield again, looks for the pass, which can only find Paez of Ecuador. He gives it away, and Argentina looking threatening once again now. Down the right-hand side with Molina. Cross in first time. The header is a free one from Enzo Fernandez, and it's wide of the post. It wasn't an easy header, quite a long way out. He was only just inside the penalty area, but he had completely free rein. He was able to make good contact. Just couldn't guide it into the bottom corner. As I say, it was quite a long way out. Goalkeeper may have had time to react, even if it had been on target, but much better that from Argentina. Probably the closest they've come to scoring in this first half now. Ecuador coming under a bit more pressure. Pancho clears long up towards the halfway line. Player down again for Ecuador. It's Enner Valencia once more. And the referee has stopped play. He's just having a word with the Ecuador captain. Valencia went up for a header, and Romero just went into the back of him. And Valencia did go down holding his back. And he's back on his feet now, and play does resume. Approaching the half-hour mark in the game. Argentina have possession on the halfway line. McAllister tries to turn away from Caicedo, wins the free kick. It is a good battle in the midfield between those two players. And then Enner Valencia goes in with a late challenge on McAllister, and he picks up the first yellow card of the game. McAllister wanted Caicedo booked a few moments earlier, didn't get his way there. And Argentina took the free kick. McAllister played the ball to a teammate and was then clattered by Enner Valencia, who's protesting his innocence. Incidentally, Enner Valencia with his 89th cap today moves into the top 10 of all-time appearance holders for Ecuador. 89 caps takes him to 9th place, just ahead of Segundo Castillo and Jose Francisco Ceballos on 88. He is the highest capped of the active players. Enner Valencia is also the record goal scorer for the country, 41 goals. And McAllister again here for Argentina. 14 minutes to go. Too much in the way of chances. Argentina with a lot of possession. Not too much penetration so far. Have the ball down the right-hand side currently. Rodrigo de Paul keeping it alive. Messi getting a touch and finding Romero. Now Tagliafico looks to slip the ball down the left-hand channel for Gonzalez. It's gone out of play for a goal kick. Minutes to go in the first half. Argentina 0, Ecuador 0. Ball at the feet of the goalkeeper. Plays it out to the left-hand side. Ecuador being forced back a little more now. Argentina starting to gain more and more control here. You just wonder how big that missed opportunity for Sarmiento and Paez earlier in the game may prove to be here for Ecuador. The possession they're having, you wouldn't imagine they'd get too many chances as good as that one. It was those two really that came in very quick succession. Argentina have it now on the left-hand side with Tagliafico. Plays it back to Emi Martinez. Out to the right for Romero. Helps it on to Molina. Molina coming under a little bit of pressure, but it's now back with Romero again. Towards the halfway line, and now the ball through the middle, and a big chance here for Argentina. Can they hold on to it? Enzo Fernandez into the penalty area, goes for goal, big deflection, it'll be a corner. Argentina's first corner of the game. But they really look dangerous there as they beat the press from Ecuador. Managed to get themselves back into a decent defensive position. And it was William Pacho who blocked the shot. Gives Argentina the first corner of the game. They really look dangerous there. As Lionel Messi prepares to take this corner. Messi's delivery into the near post, flicked on and headed in, is it? The Argentina players are celebrating, it is over the line, and it's Lisandro Martinez who has given them the lead after 35 minutes. The centre-back celebrates as the Manchester United man breaks the deadlock in the quarter-final. Messi's ball flicked on at the near post. And the goalkeeper got a hand to it, but the ball had already crossed the line. It's a brilliant flick on by McAllister. Clever corner routine. And Lisandro Martinez at the back post, connecting with the header. And giving Argentina the lead. Well, they've had to be a little patient in this game, but they have broken the deadlock. What a moment for Lisandro Martinez. His first international goal. And what is his 21st international appearance? Special moment for him. How decisive will it be in this quarter-final? There's still a long way to go. big breakthrough. For Argentina. Great work by Messi and McAllister to set up that goal. They've got themselves a free kick now on the right-hand side. They will feel a lot more secure now, Argentina, having survived a couple of early scares. Tagliafico now firing the ball forward down the left-hand side, and Nicolas Gonzalez flicking it on and then chasing it down himself, and now the Ecuador goalkeeper Dominguez under pressure as he is forced to clear rather hurriedly. And after a promising start from Ecuador, it's just starting to unravel a little bit here. Preciado to take the throw in for Ecuador, launches it long down the right hand side all the way to an Argentinian defender. As Lisandro Martinez now clears downfield, flicked on towards the halfway line and then booted out of play by Caicedo. It'll be a throw into Argentina, who can now control the game a little more comfortably. Throwing now for Argentina on the halfway line. Enzo Fernandez felt he was fouled, but the referee sees it the other way. Possession near the halfway line again as Caicedo wins Ecuador a throw. It's a big 5 minutes for them now as half-time approaches. And more pressure here for Ecuador as they lose possession again inside their own half, and now the ball will fall. Can't hit for Enzo Fernandez. It goes for goal, and just as it looked like he was about to double their lead, he rather snatched at it and dragged his shot wide. Willian Pacho being mightily relieved, having given the ball away. It's great work from Lautaro Martinez to win it back. Enzo Fernandez found himself in a great position. He went for goal, and it almost turned into a ball across the goal for Lautaro Martinez, who went sliding in at the far post and couldn't quite connect. Scored in all 3 games so far. Lautaro Martinez hoping to improve that tally this evening with his 5th goal of the competition. He is the top scorer. Two more than anybody else. Lautaro Martinez with his 4 goals in 3 games. Julian Alvarez had scored the only other goal for Argentina in this competition. Now, of course, Lisandro Martinez has added his name to the list of goal scorers, the 54th goal scored in the 2024 Copa America. It's been a fairly quiet first half for Lionel Messi, but he was heavily involved in the goal. And here come Argentina once again. Nicolas Gonzalez playing the ball back towards the centre circle for Tagliafico, does well to evade a couple of challenges and finds Alexis McAllister. Now it's out to Enzo Fernandez. There was a foul there in the centre of midfield. The referee initially letting the play go, but he's stopped it now to go and check on Rodrigo de Paul, who is down, holding the back of his head. So a little break in play here. 3 more quarterfinals to come, of course. Venezuela play Canada in Arlington, Texas. And then it's Uruguay against Brazil. On the 6th of July. And so before that, Colombia against Panama. And the other quarter-final. Semi-finals to be held on the 9th and 10th of July. The 3rd place playoff on July the 13th, and the final being played on the 14th at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Into the final minutes of normal time in this first half. A couple of delays, so may have a little bit of time still to add on. It's a drop ball from the referee, returns possession to Argentina. Romero finding Lisandro Martinez, who was under pressure there and managed to come away with the ball somehow. Argentina's goal scorer gets himself into a little bit of a tangle this time though and gives away possession. Paez finding Caicedo. One back again by Argentina. This time unfairly, according to the referee. Lautaro Martinez is penalised. Ecuador have a free kick. 2 minutes to be added on here at the end of the first half. Kick taken by Paez. Caicedo looks to send the ball into the penalty area. And his attempted ball in blocked by McAllister goes down, rather winded. Caicedo looking to launch the ball into the box, and McAllister getting his body in the way. He's just being treated now, having been fairly severely winded, it seems, by Caicedo. Delivered at some speed by Caicedo, hit the ball with some power right into the midriff of McAllister, who created the chance for Lisandro Martinez. It was Messi's corner, flicked on at the near post by McAllister. Martinez arriving at the back post completely unmarked, heading into the back of the net. or over the line at least. Goalkeeper got his hand to it, but it was too late. It was already over. And Alexis McAllister is now back on his feet. We've had almost a minute of the 2 additional minutes signalled. We may get a little bit extra now because we haven't really played since the board went up. Caicedo has it again, tries a crossfield ball out to the left. Certainly been at the heart of most things for Ecuador, Caicedo, and Ecuador almost getting in behind there on the left-hand side. It's gone out for a throw-in. Sapie looking to take it quickly. No real options on for him. It's sent into the penalty area once again, and now Argentina looking to break down the left-hand side. They can get forward in numbers here. Ecuador desperately trying to get back. It's a great run by Gonzalez. He's had to check his run and play the ball back to Messi on the edge of the penalty area. Back with Enzo Fernandez, and now the move has rather lost its momentum, and the referee does bring the first half to a close. And Lisandro Martinez with the only goal of the game so far, keeping Argentina's Argentina, who have yet to concede in this tournament, are halfway to another semi-final. Did, of course, win the last edition of this competition back in 2021, securing their 15th Copa America title. Lionel Messi was named best player of the tournament. The joint top scorer with Luis Diaz, they scored 4 times each. Emiliano Martinez got the best goalkeeper award. And Martinez taking an early goal kick here for Argentina. Ecuador have 45 minutes to respond and try and get themselves back into this game. Try and breach the Argentinian defence for the first time in this tournament. Sarmiento turning on the halfway line, trying to get away. It is still with Ecuador. Caicedo with the little layoff. Still Ecuador in possession. The teams unchanged at half-time. So Ecuador win a throw-in on the right-hand side. I'll just run you through the two teams as well at the start of the second half. Dominguez in goal for Ecuador, back four of Preciado, Torres, Pancho and Insapie, with Gruezo and Franco in the defensive midfield positions behind three of Paez, Caicedo and Sarmiento. And Valencia leading the line. He was the only player to be shown a yellow card in the first half. The Ecuador captain, who today has become the 9th highest cap holder in Ecuador's football history, his 89th international cap. He was just outside the top 10 with, or just inside the top 10, I should say, joint with two other players on 88. He's moved into 9th place on his own now with 89. Can he help Ecuador find a way back in the second half? Argentina have started the second half as they started the first. Martinez in goal, Molina, Romero, Martinez, Lisandro Martinez, of course, the goal scorer, and Tagliafico making up the back four. De Paul, McAllister, Fernandez and Gonzalez making up the midfield four in a 4-4-2. Gonzalez and De Paul, the wide players, with Messi and Lautaro Martinez as the front two. Lautaro Martinez, top scorer in the competition, 4 goals in 3 games in the group stages. And the next goal, goes without saying really, is absolutely vital in this quarter-final. Ecuador need to find a way to break through this Argentinian team, who have been impenetrable so far. Ecuador in possession here. Ball out to the right-hand side. It's been dealt with by Tagliafico and cleared forward by the goalscorer Lisandro Martinez. A foul by Lautaro Martinez and a free kick on the halfway line to Ecuador. Pancho playing the ball to Torres. And they do still have possession here. Ecuador. It actually created the better chances prior to the goal. Perhaps just a touch unlucky not to have taken the lead. Sarmiento and Paez with 2 opportunities in very quick succession. Pretty much part of the same move, really. Martinez did well to deny Sarmiento with a good save, and then Paez failed to hit the target when the ball came to him on the edge of the penalty area shortly afterwards. There's 5 minutes gone now in the second half, and it remains 1-0 to the holders. So Caicedo battles for possession in midfield and gets it forward to Valencia. For Argentina, clear the ball, look for a free kick but nothing given. Now Sarmiento onto his right foot, edge of the penalty area, checks back onto his left, loses possession, and Ecuador's threat breaks down briefly, and then there is a foul by Gruezo, and it will be a free kick to Argentina, who have a couple of players now down with injury. There's a foul on Leo Messi that was eventually penalised. Caicedo and Romero clashing prior to that as well. Caicedo and Romero both down, in fact. Romero cleared the ball and the follow through did appear to catch Caicedo on the leg. Caicedo looked as though he may have caught Romero as well in his attempt to block the clearance. Neither player has come out of it particularly well, both down on the floor receiving treatment. I just wonder whether it's an incident that will be checked. I don't think Caicedo's in any real danger of further retribution, because he may have just caught Romero on the toe on the follow through, but it was not a reckless or dangerous tackle. But Romero's follow through, and admittedly was playing the ball, and then sort of seemed to catch Caicedo just below the knee. Caicedo is still down. As is Romero, both players receiving treatment here. Still waiting. Play to get underway. Fairly lengthy delay here from both players receiving treatment. Caicedo has been down for quite a while, but he's just getting back to his feet now. Following that clash. Play still not back underway, but both players are back up on their feet. I don't think the referee's going to take any further action. Anna Valencia was certainly asking for a video assistant referee to review the decision. Both players are going to return to the field of play shortly. And it'll resume with an Argentina free kick, which will be taken by Emiliano Martinez. Long ball into the penalty area, and then Opens up wide of the post. No real danger. Very direct from Argentina from that free kick. Lautaro Martinez picked out by his goalkeeper in the middle of the penalty area. He's able to turn and shoot, but couldn't get the shot on target. Never really seemed to be any danger there for Ecuador. Haven't really been able to make a big impression on this second half so far, but we have had quite a lot of delay because of that clash between Caicedo and Romero, both of whom are now back on the field of play. Paez wins it in midfield for Ecuador, fires it downfield, easily dealt with by Romero, who launches it into the Ecuador half, played forward again to Caicedo, who's been Ecuador's most dangerous player. Valencia putting a bit of pressure on Romero, fails to clear and just lets the ball run out of play for a corner. Just wonder whether he's feeling the effects of that clash with Caicedo. It looked like minimal contact really from the Chelsea midfielder on the Tottenham defender. Comes into the near post from the corner by Caicedo, played into the near post. The final touch was of an Argentinian player, so it will be another corner. Wasn't the greatest delivery in truth. Another corner here for Ecuador. It's played right into the middle of the 6-yard box and very easily gathered by the goalkeeper, and now Rodrigo de Paul is down. Break in play. The ball now back on his feet. The play will resume with a drop ball once again. It hasn't really got going this second half, with various delays. Still it is Lisandro Martinez's goal 10 minutes before half-time that separates the two teams in this quarter-final. His first international goal, and a big one, which could take his team to the Final Four in the Copa America. They're still a little way away from securing that. As Molina clears downfield, there's definitely a threat from Ecuador, particularly when Caicedo gets on the ball, as he does now, helping it on into the penalty area, looking for Sarmiento, and it's headed behind for another Ecuador corner. They are starting to ask some questions here of Argentina. Paez and Caicedo standing over the ball again. They employed some short corner routines in the first half. Will they go for that one again? Not this time. Caicedo delivers into the near post once more. They've tried that a couple of times as well. And the referee, I think, has given a penalty here. It's a handball. And it took a little while making the decision, the referee, but he has signalled that it will be a penalty to Ecuador. Rodrigo de Paul, I think, is the player whose hand it comes off as he went to block the header at the near post. Well, he's claiming his hand was in a completely natural position close to his body. It does come at him pretty quickly from the header. It's very close proximity. So we're just waiting for VAR to confirm that it is going to be a penalty for Ecuador on the hour mark. What a moment this could be. It looks like Enner Valencia is going to be the man to take the penalty. Emiliano Martinez is a bit of a specialist when it comes to penalty saving. The master of the mind games. And a superb shot stopper. He's faced some big penalties representing his country in recent years. And this is another big one. Enner Valencia trying to block out the noise. The Ecuador captain, the country's leading goal scorer, looking to add to his tally with what would be a huge goal. Is it going to be goal number 42 for the Ecuador skipper up against Emiliano Martinez? A chance to equalise in this quarter-final. Valencia takes his time with the run-up and rolls it onto the post. And then it's fired into the side netting. And Enner Valencia, who sent Martinez the wrong way, is denied by the woodwork. It looked like he'd placed it perfectly in the corner, but it bounced back off the post. And I think now VAR just checking for encroachment here. And it looks like everything was in order, and Martinez celebrates. What a big moment in this quarter-final. And Enner Valencia, the 34-year-old, the captain, denied from the spot by the woodwork. He sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. It looked like he'd rolled it casually into the opposite corner, but it was just a little too far, and it bounced back off the post. And Martinez may not have saved it, but his clean sheet for the tournament remains intact. They still haven't conceded, Argentina. And will Felix Sanchez's side get a better chance than that in this game? Huge moment. Desperately, desperately close to an equaliser. Is that going to cost them? Time will tell. Argentina still lead by 1-0. Lisandro Martinez, and now a long ball is causing Ecuador some issues at the back. It is going to be a corner. Pressure increasing. On the Ecuador back line as Argentina prepare to make their first change, and Lautaro Martinez, who's scored in every game of the competition so far, is going to make way for Julian Alvarez, who has already scored in the Copa America this season. The Manchester City forward, replacing the Inter Milan player, the top scorer with 4 goals. But he makes way with 25 minutes or so to play. proven himself to be a very good goal scorer, Lautaro Martinez, over the years, and he's certainly delivered in this tournament. Alvarez has got a goal to his name as well. Still waiting for that Lionel Messi goal in this tournament. I wonder if that will come later this evening. His 185th cap for Argentina. Over 100 goals already. Guided his team to the Copa America and the World Cup. The reigning world champions and the reigning Copa America champions. Just over 20 minutes played in the second half. And Valencia's missed penalty. The key moment in the game so far. And Ecuador, as things stand, will be looking back with some regret, some disappointment after those two huge chances. Argentina have offered very little really going forward in the second half, now threatening perhaps to make something happen with Messi. Tries to send the ball across but unable to pick out a teammate. Argentina have been able to retain possession and Rodrigo de Paul has it midway inside the Ecuador half, sends it into the penalty area and it's hit first time by Messi and straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. That was a big chance. Just approaching the midway stage now in the second period. And Ecuador in possession. They're going to get a free kick here just inside their own half for a foul on Moises Caicedo, who has certainly taken his fair share of knocks in this game. Wonder how long before Felix Sanchez starts thinking about making one or two changes. Into the final quarter of the game. Just the one substitution so far. And Alvarez replacing Lautaro Martinez. Played out to the left-hand side for Hincapié. Tries to get onto a return pass. There's a sliding challenge by Molina. The referee's happy with it. Hincapié is down and Argentina will put the ball out of play. They'll be happy enough to just slow the game down here. A few moments ago, Lionel Messi had his first chance of the game, really. Took the ball down on his chest and fired the ball at the goalkeeper. It's a fairly straightforward save. But the bigger moments in the game, really, apart from the goal from Lisandro Martinez, have come at the other end. And Valencia inches from equalising from the penalty spot. In this second half, will Ecuador get another chance? Can they turn things around here? Messi has it for Argentina, driving forward inside the Ecuador half. Gets the ball out wide to Alvarez, who plays it to De Paul, sends it across to the penalty area. Enzo Fernandez challenging for it, but doesn't win the header, does win a throw-in. Valencia trying to break away for Ecuador, but losing out in the challenge. Argentina keep hold of possession again with 20 minutes to go. De Paul trying to break away down the right hand side, and he was just held back there. And Safié penalised. Argentina have a free kick on the right hand side, midway inside the Ecuador half. Little Messi standing over it, certainly in a position where he could deliver it into the box and cause some chaos in there for Ecuador. It was his delivery, of course, that led to the goal. In it comes from Messi, only half cleared, still not completely away on the edge of the penalty area. Finally, Ecuador do get it away, and Enner Valencia looking to break away on his own. Molina comes across to stop him going any further. He's held on to it, Enner Valencia. He's done really well, actually. And Caicedo has it now for Ecuador, looking to switch the play out to the left-hand side. It's a good ball too in Sapié, looking to get the cross into the far post, just over everybody, and kept alive by Preciado. Sends it in once more, knocked down into the penalty area, not cleared. Enner Valencia was almost on the end of that, not quite able to get the shot away, crowded out in the end. Now it's Preciado. Being kept here by Ecuador. They're still battling away here. I feel they can still make something happen. There's 17 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Can they find themselves an equaliser? Ecuador in possession now inside their own half. Ball played back to the goalkeeper. Ball now is back at the feet of the goalkeeper once more. Argentina happy for Ecuador just to keep possession in their own half here. Really offering too much of a threat. Looks like Kevin Rodriguez could be on his way shortly. First change for Ecuador looks imminent. Sarmiento does really well to keep hold of possession and cuts inside to find Caicedo. Now out to the right hand side for Preciado, who looks for the return ball, beaten to it by Gonzalez. And now there is a foul by Messi'S Caicedo, who's penalised with a yellow card. A foul on Rodrigo de Paul. He felt he was fouled earlier on. The referee didn't agree. Now he shows the yellow card to the Chelsea midfielder. Caicedo actually felt it was Preciado who was fouled by Nicola Gonzalez. Changes are being made now by Ecuador. Sarmiento and Paez are both replaced here, so Kendry Paez and Jeremy Sarmiento have played their part in this game. It's at the end of their tournament. Sarmiento looked really dangerous there for a few moments. Rodriguez is actually not come on here. Alaminda and Jordi Caicedo, the two players who have come on. Giovanni Lo Celso is about to come on for Argentina now. As Ecuador win another free kick, it's a yellow card this time for Gonzalez. This time catching Preciado on the foot as he goes in for a sliding tackle. He joins Enner Valencia and Messi'S Caicedo in the book. First booking for Argentina. Looks like being a double change here for Argentina. Nicolas Otamendi is coming on to replace the goal scorer Lisandro Martinez. Giovanni Lo Celso is coming on for Enzo Fernandez. So 3 of the changes now made by Argentina, including taking off their goal scorer, bringing on the experience of Otamendi. Can Ecuador find a way through here? All played into the penalty area. It's won back by Argentina and picked up inside the 6-yard box by Emi Martinez. Forward, cleared away by Ecuador. I think we're about to make more changes here. John Yeboah could be one of those about to come on, and it is the end of the night for Enner Valencia. Carlos Gruezo also making way for Ecuador, so it is John Yeboah and Angel Mena who comes on. Angel Mena on for his 60th cap, 36-year-old, plays with Leon in Mexico. And John Yeboah, just 24, making his 6th international appearance. He's scored a couple of international goals, places club football in Poland. Enner Valencia's disappointing night coming to an end as one of the two players taken off. His 89th cap. And a chance to get his 42nd international goal. Now just 10 minutes remain in this quarter-final. Lisandro Martinez's goal is all that separates the two teams. Can Ecuador respond? They've got themselves a free kick here for a rather clumsy challenge from Tagliafico, just outside the D, in a central position for Ecuador. He's picked up a yellow card, Tagliafico. Substitute Yeboah turned well and made a good run. Martinez lining up his wall here for Argentina. The job is not done yet for the holders. Copa America and World Cup holders, of course, facing this free kick, which is fired straight into the wall. Ecuador have now given the ball away, but the referee's pulled it back for a free kick. And it's actually because there's an Argentinian player down. Romero it is. Otamendi's absolutely furious that the referee decided to intervene, because Romero was down on the edge of his own penalty area. It looked like Argentina were about to break away. They're really not happy with the referee for stopping play. I think maybe the concern was there's possibly a head injury, but Romero just taking a real blow in the midriff from the free kick. Possibly just a little lower than that, in fact. It does look quite painful. The referee stopping play just when it looked like Argentina were about to break away, having won possession. That's how they feel anyway. It looked as though maybe the referee had already blown just before possession was won by Argentina, so maybe the Ecuador player in question, Preciado, had just given the ball up essentially because he'd heard the whistle. To Messi on the edge of the penalty area, does really well to control it. Argentina looking for a way through again. Ecuador managed to get back in numbers. Ball is played out to the right hand side. De Paul is able to win a throw in. Six minutes remain plus stoppage time. Argentina certainly in no rush to take this throw in. Molina it is who will eventually get the ball back in play here. Throws it short, and Ecuador win the ball back and win themselves a throw in now deep inside their own half. And Sapie take the throw in, looking for options. Eventually managed to pick out Alan Minda. And Sapie again sends it forward, but actually sends the ball straight out of play for an Argentina throw. Jordi Caicedo is still waiting to come on. I don't know whether the decision has been made not to bring him on now, the 26-year-old. He plays in Mexico. Looked like he was all ready to come on around about 10 minutes ago, and then the decision was made not to bring him on just yet. Ecuador clear the ball out of play for a throw-in. And now Jordi Caicedo does look as though he's about to come on, still waiting for the referee to allow that substitution to happen, but now he has. And he will take the place of Alan Franco. Ecuador have now just over 3 minutes plus stoppage time to find an equaliser. Argentina win it back. Have it on the right-hand side, given away. Argentina haven't really threatened too much in this second half. Lionel Messi had one attempt, which was comfortably saved by Alexander Dominguez. Free kick has now been given Argentina's way, and it'll be Emiliano Martinez to take it. In no rush at all here, the Argentina goalkeeper. They are edging closer and closer to another semi-final in the Copa America. Long ball forward, headed clear on the edge of the penalty area. And now Ecuador looking to break away down the right-hand side. And it's dealt with again by Argentina, and Ecuador have a throw which has been taken. Jackson Barroso sends it forward into the penalty area. It's flicked on, easily gathered by Emi Martinez, who's not going to be in any rush here. Taking his time. Now Otamendi is down. Argentina have certainly done a good job of just taking the sting out of the game in this second half. Here come Ecuador though, with Caicedo, Jordi Caicedo, and he does get the shot away. It's into the side netting. Fairly difficult angle for him. Nothing more than a goal kick in the end for Argentina as the board goes up. 5 minutes of stoppage time for Ecuador to find an equaliser and extend this quarter-final. Ball goes out of play for an Ecuador throw as Lionel Messi is unceremoniously bundled off the pitch. He looked less than impressed. No foul given as Ecuador now win a free kick on the right-hand side. Ball played out to the right. Argentina have 1 or 2 players down again as the ball is flicked on and into the back of the net, and it is an equaliser. John Yeboah, in only his 6th international game, has come up with the equaliser. Well, that's an incredible moment for Ecuador as Argentina concede for the first time in the tournament. Players and substitutes in the corner celebrating with the goal scorer. It will be checked, of course, for a potential offside as the ball was sent in from the right-hand touchline, but no question of the offside from the man who put the ball in the back of the net. It was actually Yeboah's ball in, and it may have taken a flick off Otamendi. I think that's going to go down as an own goal. I think it's Nicolas Otamendi who will get credited with this. But what a moment for Ecuador. They won't care who scored. John Yeboah was the player celebrating. The man who plays his football in the Polish Ekstraklasa, making only his 6th appearance off the bench, claiming his 3rd goal of his international career. It won't go down as his goal. Will it go down as a goal at all? It is being checked still by VAR. He looked like he got a touch, so I think it's actually going to go down as a Kevin Rodriguez goal. If it counts, it is still being checked. A long and anxious wait here for Ecuador. What a moment it would be for Kevin Rodriguez, the only player to drop out of the starting 11 from the last group game, as he made a huge impact here. It was John Yeboah's ball in. They are still waiting for the check to be confirmed, for the goal to be confirmed. Both sets of fans waiting anxiously, but the goal is given. And it is 1-1. Finally confirmed for Ecuador. I think Jordi Caicedo threw himself at the ball. He didn't get a touch, and I think they were just trying to decide whether his attempt to play the ball was interfering with play, because he was probably in an offside position. He didn't really get close enough to the ball. I don't think it had any impact on Emiliano Martinez. And Kevin Rodriguez, the 24-year-old, scores his 2nd international goal to potentially take this game into extra time. The 5 minutes of stoppage time are up. Argentina concede for the first time in the tournament, but Ecuador might be about to snatch it here into the penalty area. Is there a little push? Ball still alive. It's gone behind for a goal kick. Angel Mena finding himself in the penalty area, and suddenly Argentina are in all kinds of trouble. They have rode their luck a little at times, Argentina, who have made another change. Gonzalo Montiel is on. Scored the winning penalty in the shootout in the World Cup final. He replaces Molina with surely just a few seconds remaining now of stoppage time, with extra time on the horizon. Ball kept alive here, though, by Ecuador, who are still threatening. Cross into the middle, and what an opportunity that was to win it. Jordi Caicedo couldn't get enough contact on the header and put it wide of the post. But Ecuador so close to causing a huge upset. Tremendous work on the left-hand side. Caicedo so close to finding the back of the net. Just didn't quite get enough on the header. It's a brilliant ball in from Alan Minder. We've now played 7 minutes of stoppage time. Of course, we had a long delay as that goal was being checked. Ecuador sending the ball forward again to the edge of the penalty area. A handball is the decision in the end. Kevin Rodriguez, the scorer of the equaliser, penalised for handball. And Emi Martinez will take the free kick. And that, in fact, won't be taken because it is full time. And on we go in this game. Argentina were minutes away, maybe just a minute or two away from victory. Lisandro Martinez heading them in front, but a late equaliser from Kevin Rodriguez. A substitute getting on the end of John Yeboah's cross. And we will go on to extra time in this quarter-final. That is on the way shortly. It's Ecuador 1, Argentina 1 after 9.